What's up, ballers? It's the Giant Bombcast. That's what I'm trying. That's my new intro. I got. That's what you need to have a name for people that are listening. You like to
ballers?
Brand them.
Yeah,
ballers?
Can we bring back Jim Jones ballin'?
Yes, we can.
Hell
we
yeah.
can. Absolutely.
Hell yeah.
Where's my baller cat?
I've been waiting for this day this week.
Yes.
I'll go get my Jabos.
Yeah. Yes. Go get up there. Get out there and get them. It's what is it? It's November 23rd, and Jim Jones is back on the menu.
Not the
that
cold
one.
guy.
Not that one. Def Jam Icons, Jim Jones. Actually, he's not in the game. He's just on the soundtrack. I think that song's on the soundtrack. Or is he? No, he's in the game. I gotta look. Def Jam Icon.
If E40 is in Icon, then Jim Jones has to be an icon.
There's a lot of not
like
icons in Def Jam Icon.
Jim Jones is in. Yes, he is in Def Jam Icon. The best or second best Def Jam video game.
The second best game with a rap soundtrack. Of course, the winner being Kingpin Life of Crime.
Oh yeah, no,
Fair.
definitely. That's or Grand Theft Auto 1.
It's pretty good. Yeah, I was talking to the guy.
That Joyride song.
I was talking to the guy who did the music for GTA 1 about that song yesterday.
That is
Apparently, that guy was a friend of somebody who went to Dundee University, who was the only person they knew in Dundee who rapped. He was just
that
a
song
student
sounds
from
like
Manchester.
the song performed by this is the only guy we know who raps. But that didn't stop me and Ryan McDonald from taking the GTA 1 game disc that they sent over it was like a burn. They sent over a burn of the PC version of the game for review purposes, and we listened to it in his Jeep because it was just Redbook audio. So it's literally like just the burned copy of the disc that thrown in that they sent over. This is the Giant Bombcast. Jeff Bacalars here. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. Can't complain. A little bit of the anxiety starting to creep in about the holiday. So
Okay. Yeah.
I'm happy to talk that out. That helps me. That's what I've been told to do, is to talk about how it makes me feel about having to see some people. So.
Oh sure, yeah. So
Seeing.
But
people.
other than that, things are pretty okay. Thanks for asking.
What if you just didn't do the family stuff? What if you were like, hey, you know what? We just want to get this rest of this pandemic over with. It's just not.
We're kind of running out of excuses there, I think.
It's a good. What if you add a child who would just say that you have a new child who is too young to get vaccinated?
Well, they're pretty
I
familiar
find
with
this
my
is an
family.
excellent thing for a lot of reasons.
Yeah. I mean, if
Pretend you
these
have
were
COVID. Just pull the band-aid.
I don't know if I'm ready to pull that card. It's just not. I mean, they've been very intimately connected into, like, we're all in each other's business. To all of a sudden be like, hey, turns out we're all nervous about it. It would just be too much of a 180.
It's like a Jersey family sort of, everybody knows what's up sort of thing. Yeah.
Everyone knows our business, and we haven't seen them in a real long time, and like I said, we're running out of excuses. And I just feel like...
work's been super busy. I got to go out west to record some stuff, and that would maybe go over poorly, because they'd be like on Thanksgiving, and I'd be like, yeah. Well, yeah, I got to fly on Thanksgiving because we start because that would classically, when we did Game of the Year in December, it was like the week after Thanksgiving we started. So so it was oftentimes that the New York team was flying on like Black Friday or that weekend for sure. So it was like, here you go in the nightmare the nightmare travel weekend. Come out to San Francisco.
We'll set up a third desk. You can sit over there.
No, I'm not going to do that. I actually now remember that, and having all those guys leave and being like, I wouldn't want to have to do that. So just to double down, I do not want to do that. One day, 23, 24, 25, wherever the wind takes us.
They're going to have an E3 again. You're going to have to go to the fucking crypto.biz arena.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
No, I know. Look, I've pretty much become comfortable with the fact that E322 is most likely an in-person thing. That's probably the next time I'll get on a plane is what, by my calculations, unless we really go for a nosedive in the way things have been kind of going.
Right.
I mean,
yeah. I've been getting a lot of emails from people trying to have events and stuff, and they're like, "We'll fly you in," and I'm like, I'm still not like, no, I don't.
Yeah,
I don't think
there was a press event in the Bay like 2 weeks ago for a game that I got like a very last minute email about, and I was like,
yeah.
Are you emailing me because everyone else has said no?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're
like
not
your
that far
day
down on
before.
the list, Dan. Don't worry.
I'm
bud.
pretty far down. I think they don't. I mean, maybe because I'm on here, but like, they don't need to be emailing the guy who does documentaries about games 2 years after they come out about a new release. I was like, I know when I'm like,
Maybe
low
they're
on
planting
this.
seeds, Danny.
Don't sell yourself short, O'Dwyer. You're number one on my list, baby.
But it was that type of thing where you're like, oh, this is. I wonder if they're having trouble because I'm like, who would?
Hey, you're
Like
welcome.
it's especially in downtown SF because it's like IGN aren't in the studios, GameSpot aren't in their studios, so who's around? It was midweek, you know.
Yeah. I believe I know exactly which event you're talking about. And also a lot of events are suddenly like sending out the invite and being like, "Hey, do you want to come to this office? We have this dev team in town for this thing to show this off." And then like 2 days later is the follow up like, "What about remote session?" So I think.
I don't like. Are they dying to spend money? Is that what it is? They're like, we have this budget. If we don't use it, we lose it. I don't know. Is it like,
or they're just like underestimating people's willingness to like go and do stuff still? I don't
think
know
it's
what
like
the...
there's some. I think there's some sort of corporate, like in cases like this. I feel like there's some sort of corporate influence saying like, "Oh God, we can't have people continue to work from home. We gotta cut this dream short, like soon." Really soon, sooner than later, because we don't want people to get too comfortable working from home.
Sounds like
in an
Apple.
office.
Yeah, it's weird. I wonder if the press trip stuff as well for some companies is kind of their unfair advantage in a way, you know, because they can have the budget to do this sort of stuff, and the sort of democratization of like remote and like emailing has not benefited some of them. So like getting back to doing events helps them maybe in a way that doesn't others.
We're also getting into a window where like the game awards are coming up. So if you've got developers coming into town for that, they're like, how many other things can we stack onto this trip to try to like make sure it is worth the money we are spending to send people out here? And so there's stuff like that, I think, at play as well. But
dude, the scariest thing at the moment is right now my there's some like family stuff going on. COVID is going on, so like I have my eyes on Ireland at the moment, and like vaccination rates in Ireland are super high. But of course in the wintertime it's a country where people are spending a lot of time indoors. It's very dark, it's very wet, like you're just indoors working. People have started to work from home together a bit more, and it's shooting up, and they're like the vaccination rates are so high there. Like my hometown had like 99.7%.
The country's like close to 90, isn't it?
Yeah, so it's I think some of it is unvaccinated people, but it's that worrying feeling of like, oh shit.
Well, like,
are we ever going to be rid of it?
Get your booster.
Yeah, right. Yeah, the thing is that like even though people are still getting it, they're not dying from it. Like that's
true. Yeah.
That's the thing. Like, you know, even though there's still spikes and stuff like that, it's not people going to the hospital and being like, you know, intubated and stuff like that. I just recovered from my COVID booster that I had over the weekend, and it kicked my ass.
Yeah, I gotta get that.
What's the mix and match here? I didn't know you can mix and match now. I thought you gotta stick with the one you gotta get.
Yeah.
I just got the same. I got the same one. I had Moderna, so I got Moderna, and it's Moderna is half the dose of the original shot that you got, and I was like, ooh, maybe that means it'll be half as bad. It was just as bad, but different.
Different
didn't
bad.
have
nice.
the second.
What kind of different? What do you
second
mean?
and first shots.
Gremlins.
Oh.
The second and
Sign
first
me
shots,
up.
I had a crazy headache that lasted hours. I was like a cartoon character with a little like ice bag on my head. It was really pathetic. And the whole rest of the symptoms, chill, stuff like that, but no nausea or anything like that. I didn't puke or anything. This booster shot, I did not get the headache, but I did puke at like 4:30 in the morning
puked?
out of nowhere. I puked. I freaking threw up.
Damn.
I was
Wow,
like,
metal.
yo, this sucked. Like I woke up in a cold, drenched sweat, breathing bad. And my poor partner was just like, "Are you okay? What's wrong?" And I was just like, "I gotta throw up." Just like
You're like, I'm
stumbled.
allergic to microchips. I
Just went and
I'm getting
puked. I
mine
was like, "This is
Sunday.
bullshit."
Nice.
But boosters are good, and you should take them, everyone.
Yes.
Should
yeah,
take
I'm getting
'em.
mine
You're
Sunday.
stronger now.
It was
Yeah, you're
great. I feel
better.
very, very powerful. For what it's worth, it was a very short puke.
Oh,
Nice.
4 or
It's
5
been
gags.
so long since I've
done with.
puked. I would welcome it at this point, honestly.
It's refreshing at
Yeah.
a certain point. Yeah.
Yeah. Lets
it's
you know
like
you're
a
Makes you
alive.
feel alive.
yeah, it's like a good
Yeah.
night cry. You know, like you need your like weekly cry. So you just need to
Weekly
exercise. Yeah, weekly
Weekly,
puke.
huh?
Just brush your teeth. That's all.
Monthly maybe.
Yeah, I'm waiting to brush my teeth. But yeah, that sucked. But was it worse than having a very long, hours-long headache? I don't know. So I'm gonna put it as just as bad, even though the symptoms were different. So
Yeah, my Moderna 1 and 2 were pretty similar. Like it was just like I had like I was a little fatigued, and then I would have these slight bouts of like a head fog where there was just like a where the fuck what was I doing? Like just like like that kind
I
of
was like,
thing. But
I was super tired. I had chills that were crazy bad, and that was the same too. And I just had bonitis. Like all my bones hurt. Every bone hurt.
Oh, was it no bones day?
And no
I mean that sounds like a
bones.
bones day. If your bones hurt, that means you got 'em.
Wait, I'm sorry. They
Too many.
canceled that dog apparently.
Too many bones.
Oh really?
No.
Damn
Damn.
racist dog.
I hate when that happens. But yeah, so my bones are a little sore still. But I'm better. It felt like the next day, it felt like somebody punched every individual rib on my rib cage, like
Sick.
one by one. But go get the
Nice.
booster. It's a good time.
Yeah, no,
It's
I'm
your-
Get it up.
definitely I need to line mine
Do
up.
your part.
I still need to get my flu shot too.
Yeah, they offered
should.
to like do the flu shot and the COVID booster. I was like, I don't have a death wish. No.
Yeah.
Get it all done.
Flu shot
Get it all
never
done in one
does
go.
anything to me.
Yeah,
It
but
just
what
kinda-
if it like? What if it teams up on me with the COVID booster? It makes it worse. I'm not gonna risk that.
I don't. They're just going to work. They probably maybe bump into each other on the train, but they don't.
Yeah, they're not like
I've
shaking
seen-
hands and be like, "Let's get it done." It's not like
I seen
you know.
I seen anime about the human body, and I'm pretty sure they would have a very tsundere competitive relationship together in my bloodstream. So
I don't
wanna risk
understand that reference at all. But I feel like there's not a situation where they're just like they see each other and they're like, "You want to kill this thing?" I feel like they're not.
Like
gonna-
hell yeah, we got to save it to
they're
death.
not- yeah, we're gonna.
Well, it's more.
We're
It's
gonna
more
protect
like
it to death.
it's more like it's just like my immune system being like, oh no, there's 2 of them. Ah,
Yeah.
gonna panic over it. So
No,
I didn't
totally
go for that.
understandable. But yeah, no, I'm very excited to get all that stuff and get set up. And you know, our doctor. So my daughter's been sick for the past few days here with just some kind of mystery baby virus. It seems like she's fine today, but is just like has a raspy voice, and which is very cute in its own fun way. But she had to go in and just see a doctor just to make sure everything was chill and everything's fine. And he's like, yeah, no, your daughter's good. And then she threw up and was like, nah, she's still good. She just didn't like getting looked at for strep throat.
The monthly puke.
The monthly puke, yeah, it's she's been on kind of, actually, now that you mention it, kind of a monthly run of just like that food went weird and here we are. Like,
That's not bad
anyway,
for a toddler.
that
right?
doctor, and I've had a couple other people say like it seems like maybe like Q1 for kids aged 2 to 5, and that's kind of where I'm at in terms of like I will just feel a lot better about stuff.
Little tiny vaccine, little tiny
yeah.
little shot, little needle.
Yeah,
she's
this kid's
due for
used
other
to it.
shots
It's a
anyway.
push pin.
Yeah,
It's a push pin.
This
She's
kid's get like pricked every 6 months. For first half of the first 2 years of their life, it's constant vaccine.
Oh yeah, and she was like slightly jaundiced at birth, so like she was trying heel sticks like every week for a while.
Oh,
It's
that
shit
shit sucks. Yeah.
Yeah, they were poking her for a good long time. And that
Raspy
was
voice
crazy.
though, that's adorable.
Yes,
Love
it
that.
super is. Yes, it absolutely is. It's just
I
like,
had
oh
a
great,
raspy
you got that
voice as a
vocal
kid.
fry that everyone hates now. Good.
It's so
Yeah.
cute.
It's very cute.
There's video of me at Disney World being like 3 with like that little froggy voice, and it's just melt your heart.
Yeah.
I miss when I was cute.
Yeah, one of the grandparents came through and brought a gigantic castle type thing that is a little tent basically. Tent
hell
cylinder that kind of,
Sick.
nice.
and so she's just been like running into it at full speed and knocking it over a couple of times, which is always fun. But but she's been just like hiding in there and then like frog voicing out of it about how hungry she is or how she wants to watch
Bring me my
Cinderella for the
cigarettes.
9th time today.
My baby cigarettes.
Just reminds me of like a waitress at a diner.
Yeah.
It's like,
Totally.
freshen your coffee, hun. That kind of thing.
What are you looking for? You want to play Keno? Like she's just walking around a Vegas casino, just going Keno, Keno.
One of the
Where's
casinos where they still let you smoke, right?
Where's that baby shark? Do 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 do.
Let it go.
Bibbity bobbity boom. Anyway, Jan and Jess, Danny are here as well.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
We've been talking a while.
Allegedly.
In theory, and that's very exciting. Danny went camping. Did you hide and play video games in the middle of the forest, or like what? Were you filming something? What?
No, I was just heading out. I did a lot of I got into car camping and overlanding during the COVID times, because it was like I can't go anywhere or stay anywhere, and that's like kind of one of the joys of doing No Clip was flying around or even just driving places and staying in weird hotels and meeting people and doing all that shit. And I got crazy cabin fever, so I started. My car got nicked. Right, my car got stolen, so I ended up getting a Jeep Wrangler. And then
Your car got stolen?
Oh yeah, my car got real stolen. Like it turned up full of crystal meth and dildos. 6 weeks later.
Wow.
I'm sorry, what? Is that a real
Yeah.
story?
Can't
I
do
am
that
sure
as the
I've
episode
told this
title.
story.
That was
on here
you, right?
before. I must have, right?
You feel like
crystal
you
meth was not
remember a
mine,
thing
for the
like
record.
that.
Yes, the crystal meth was not mine either, but I did have to call the cops when I got into the car. By the way, the cops in Union City had found the car. It was already the property of State Farm by this stage, so I don't know why the fuck I was going to get it, except the cops were like, "You need to come get this car," and then I got in it, and it was full of something that I knew wasn't cocaine, but I thought maybe something else. So I called the cops up and was like, "Hey, if I drive this home and it's full of meth, will I get in trouble?" And they were like, "Yes, stay there."
Wait a minute.
Back.
They didn't even look into the car.
They didn't even notice the
they didn't.
meth?
They didn't look. In it,
What?
No.
The
It was full of
cops.
shit. Had knuckle dusters in it. What do you call them? Brass knuckles.
Brass knuckles.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then-
You
and
should've
then when I got
gotten
it
those,
home-
and
Yeah,
Kept
well,
those.
the cop asked me if they were mine, and I was like, "You're trying to get me. I know they're illegal."
Sounds very Big Lebowski. Like,
Yeah, and then I got home and I was cleaning the car up a little bit because it was like they were worried about it being full of fentanyl and that I get like contact high on the way home, so they made me wear gloves and all this shit. It wasn't my car. Like I don't know why I was driving this thing home. It was nice to see it and drive it one more time, and they totally fucked it because it was like braking weird and
Oh my
anyway.
God.
But when I got home, then I lifted up. I wanted to find my old license plate, and I found it in the back of the car underneath the spare wheel. But then when I went to get the, I was looking underneath there. I found like a velvet bag, and I opened the velvet bag, and I'm like, "Oh my god, there's going to be a gun in here." And there wasn't. There was a big, definitely used dildo. So that was
Definitely
great.
you.
what?
yeah.
This doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it was. It was
well,
just
you've
a party
never just
bus.
been like, hey, babe, let's you and me get out there, have a good time, steal a car, smoke some meth, and then I got King Prong over here. Time to have let's get it going. Like
No.
nothing. What
in
do
a
you do for
velvet
fun in
bag?
fucking Jersey? What do you like? Read the
Oh, you missed the
Bible?
joke.
Come on,
That
man.
was the velvet bag. Oh, that's weird, Danny. I'm sorry that all happened to
Wow.
you.
I
Actually,
felt
I'm
for you.
not
No,
because it's a
great.
funny story.
It was
Funny
the most
story.
interesting thing that happened during COVID.
Paid-
So, but anyway, that is all to say that now I got a Jeep, and I used to camp in the back of it, but I have recently built a assembly on it with a roof rack and now a rooftop tent. So now I'm able to like go to the high desert or go to the woods, and my car can basically park anywhere. So I go to like BLM land, Bureau of Land Management land, where you could just do whatever the fuck you want. So you just go find some BLM, usually when
Get
it's
some
not
crystal
fire
meth,
season.
some dildos.
I know, right?
just
Life,
Sounds
life's
like a party.
Life's
Yeah.
a circle, yeah. So
Nick
it's
a
good. It's a good
international
time.
waters.
Because it's hard to
So I
get
did not.
it's hard to get camping spots in California. Sometimes you have to like book like 3 or 4 months in advance.
Tell me
So the
about
cool thing about like BLM land is that you can just kind of, as long as your car is able to do it, and I got a 4x4, so it's able to, I can put the tires down and go off into the countryside a bit, and then you can just camp out and do whatever you want. So I just use it for an overnight, and relax, and go on a hike and shit. Yeah, it's a good time. Have some
Right
I
on.
want to go back to the terminology nick. I already know that nicking something is stealing something, but for some reason I always thought it was something kind of small, not like a car. I didn't know you could nick something large like a car. I thought that was like stealing or like a different term. That's I always thought like nicking was like wallets.
Like
No,
a
just- I don't
shoplifting
know.
equivalent as opposed to like a
Yeah,
grand
yeah.
theft.
Right, like larceny, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know you could use it for large items, so I learned something.
Yeah,
today.
I don't think it's particular nick. It's never had. It's you can nick anything you want.
Wow.
Nice.
I got permission from Danny O'Dwyer, so I'm gonna do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, it's okay. Danny, you've played some Battlefield 2042.
Yeah.
I want to start with that because I've played a bit of it. Like it's been out for a little bit, and I played a bit of it, but I feel like we haven't really gotten into it as a game. It's more been as like, hey, it's got some launch woes. We're a little bit past that. What do you think?
Man, it is such a difficult thing to figure out why it's not clicking with me. But I'll try. I think for the past couple of Battlefields, I weirdly liked a lot of the campaign stuff. So like I liked the Battlefield 3 campaign and all that sort of stuff. But the multiplayer has never like kept me for like longer than like a 2-3 month period. But I've usually had at least that much, and I felt really good about it. And then I've let the community have it, and I've sort of drifted off. And for some reason, this one just I can't. It's not putting its hooks in. I remember we talked about the beta. And the problem with like, I just kind of felt lost. I didn't feel like my squad was a squad. The big maps, it felt, I don't know, like less organized. Like there was an organized chaos in those games, but like you kind of felt like you were all descending on a point or doing one thing. And one of the game modes where it's very like defend, attack, point by point, kind of does that. But other ones, I've just had a hard time.
Like the big main mode of the conquest, and or all out battle, or whatever they're calling it now. Just I'm with you. Like the handful of matches that I've played, it's just not interesting. Like the moment to moment of it doesn't feel good. Like I don't feel like I'm heading in any specific direction. Like I'm capturing points and getting kills and getting more kills than deaths and little things like that. But it just everything about it feels totally frivolous. Like this, it feels like none of it matters. I guess I don't know.
Yeah, it's and I don't know if it's like because there's nothing in the game that's very like I don't really know that armies involved. I don't know why we're doing anything. I don't know why we're in this area. Like I don't really understand if this is like a lot of the places don't read like real places or anything. You know what I mean? So they don't feel like it's not like Dust or Italy, not to be ridiculous, but like having some sort of grounding or like the one area that I've been really enjoying actually has been the Portal stuff, because it's been really fun to just go back to Caspian Border or to like play with Battlefield. I think it's 3 guns. Like that stuff has been interesting, and you get some weird combinations that happen in there, which keeps it sort of unique. But yeah, I don't know what it is. I remember we talked about the beta. I mentioned the whole I'd been playing a lot of Chivalry 2, and that game does a really good job of, you know, when you run into battle, you have an exchange, and even if you lose the exchange, you feel like you've had a fight with somebody. You know, you get a couple of hits in, blocks, you get hurt, you know, and then when you die in that game, they do a really good job of spawning you not too far, and also you're running already. So they're very conscious of you getting bored. And I have had a lot of time, and I'm not a great Battlefield player, so I'm kind of used to this a bit, but I'm having a lot of time where I'm running into the battle because there's none of my squad mates anywhere, and then I got shot from somebody I didn't even see. And then I go back and I run, and I get shot again. And
some of that, I wonder if it's just the bigger map size because it's 128 players now. And it just feels like maybe they just filled a lot of those maps with a lot of dead space, a lot of dead time, downtime.
Yes.
And so it's just like maybe you're just like running a little bit more from point to point. Like I feel that way. So I in most of my matches, I feel like, oh, there's a squad mate at least somewhere, or there's like a vehicle I can spawn in and go do something stupid or, you know, whatever. So it's been less of the spawn, run, die, but instead it's been like spawn, run, like run out of ammo, grab another gun, like last kind of a long time and aimlessly run from point to point doing stuff in a way that just none of that feels like it matters, but also it's just a long trek to run on some of those maps. You're just like, well, this point's locked down. I'm going to go to the other one. I don't see any vehicles here, or any easy way for me to get over there. So I guess I'm just fucking going. And then you're just like, I'm just going to fucking haul ass over there and just hoof it. And that's not fun at all. And because it's not like occasionally you are, but like you're not always running into encounters when you're out there. It's not like you're like, oh, I got to fight my way to the next point or find where the line is where we're pushing up against each other. Like none of that exists. And some of the balance stuff, there was a story on Kotaku that I was reading last night saying that like the late unlocked sniper rifle kills a tank faster than the rocket launcher. Because the long reload time of the rocket launcher and all other stuff, that it ends up being faster to use. Even the like starting unlock sniper rifle, they said was like 2 seconds longer than the rocket launcher. And so you have situations where it's just like weapons don't feel impactful. Like the vehicle stuff feels like overpowered or compared to the foot stuff, which it should to an extent, but like that's not necessarily fun either, because it just doesn't feel like there are always enough vehicles in the field. It's like on spawn, I'm like going like, well, I guess I'll fly one of these over there and crash it because I'm an idiot, or drive a tank and it'll take even longer to fucking get to where the action is. Like there's something about the pace of that game that feels like dead broken this time in a way that it hasn't in the past. And then you layer on like just the weapons and attachments and kind of all this other stuff and the operators. It just feels like it's like one or two too many levels of gear that don't really matter.
Yeah.
Or like there's just too much stuff in there that just feels like arbitrary choices in terms of like, well, I guess I want the wingsuit and the grenade belt lady, because the wingsuit is got something, at least it's different. And yeah, I don't know. Like I just, there's a lot of talk about like, oh, Halo's doing this, Halo's doing that. Like Battlefield's not doing it. Battlefield is doing it to itself. Like I just don't think like you can purely pin any kind of woes this game is facing on like a competitive shooter market. Like that's not helping, but like this game doesn't feel ready. It feels wrong. It doesn't feel like they played the previous Battlefield game and had like a bunch of smart ideas about how to satisfy people better. It feels like instead they just said like, oh, I don't know, let's just throw more players into it and fuck it. I don't know. It just feels like a mess. I don't know.
I think the way I've been thrown off by it is that Conquest has always been the sort of like main, especially in modern years, right? Like the main push of Battlefield. It's what they had in the beta, and it's the weakest mode because of all those things, at least in my experience, and it sounds like you, the scale of it, all that sort of stuff, it just doesn't seem to work. I've had more fun playing Breakthrough, like I said, the one where one is...
It's a little more focused,
Exactly, yeah, and then the Portal stuff just tend, by virtue of those maps and those probably the guns are using, are smaller. I haven't played much of the Hazard Zone stuff, which I know is the sort of like squad-based, not battle royale, but squad-based sort of squad versus squad stuff, which maybe that's something I'd enjoy as well. But it's just weird because the main mode, there's no campaign, and then also the main mode that I come to Battlefield for isn't great. So I'm enjoying it, but I'm enjoying it because of these sort of tertiary modes that I hadn't been anticipating enjoying as much. So it's just odd that way.
I've seen some folks say that Hazard Zone is fun if you've got a focused team of friends, because it communication helps, and the game didn't launch with voice chat, so you kind of can't.
I bet Conquest is great if you've mates too. If you're playing on Discord with some friends, I bet that's great too. But I'm not feeling it with randoms. And I was playing, what was that, Hell Let Loose game? I think I'd played around the time, and I, as well, like that and Chivalry have sort of like spoiled the broth or something for me, because I've seen other games actually do really smart stuff to affect that type of big scale problem or instant death problem, and maybe I'm just so less patient for that type of play because I've been playing these other games. But yeah, outside of that, I haven't had the sort of big technical woes that people have been talking about so much, outside of just like a normal launch multiplayer game, and I'm fairly forgiving of that stuff. Yeah, so I don't know. I'm gonna keep giving it, but it hasn't got its hooks in yet.
Yeah, I don't know that I'm gonna spend any more time with it unless they make some meaningful change to it. I just, there's other stuff out there, like Halo Infinite, for example.
Oh gosh,
we're a week in on this Halo. Seems like people like this Halo.
Yes,
Jan,
I can't.
Are you a Halo fan? Would you consider yourself a longtime Halo player, or is this just happening to you fresh out of nowhere?
No, I like semi-fresh, I guess. Like, loved the poop out of Halo 2 and 3. Fell off 4. Oh, I liked ODST. I don't remember 5 well. There was a 5, right? I'm not making that up.
Yeah, there was a 5.
Okay.
I think maybe last week I talked about the story of 5 thinking it was 4, which is maybe
that's
indicative of how memorable some of those last couple of campaigns have been.
But yeah, this is I've only been able to check out the multiplayer, and for the progression system being still a little super duper wonky, I can't get enough of this big battle mode, y'all. Like, oh god, like I thought the grappling hook would be the main utility item that like you'd rock around with, and I thought the repulsor was the most useless, because like am I gonna parry in like a Halo game? And then I parried in a Halo game where it was amazing, where a guy just swooped around the corner and I was about to reload and then repulsed him, so he bounced off a bit. Then I was able to reload and then bop him from a distance. I feel like I still don't have good map awareness or awareness of where specific items or weapons are spawning, but none of it matters to me, at least, because I'll just like I'll die, come back up, find something, and I'll still have fun. And I was actually talking about this with my friends that are really, really into COD, and that's majority of the stuff they play, where they hate that Call of Duty has broken their minds that they have to care about their KD ratio, right?
Right.
Here in Halo, I couldn't give two poops. Like, if it's a positive KD ratio, then like fantastic. But like, if I'm doing the objectives and I'm having a good time and like they're also having a good time, we're having a fucking blast, y'all. Like, I said this I think last week, but I love me a good CTF, and it's been a hot minute since we've had like a good capture the flag.
Yeah, that one round we played was great.
Yeah. I've had similar moments of victory or just like escorting someone in, and I love like the inadvertent moments you can get in a Halo game where you can communicate with a stranger, like, yo, hop on the back of my mongoose. We're gonna stealthily drive over. We're gonna take the sick jump. Thank you for not ejecting out of the mongoose because we flipped over. And then they run, get the flag, then we like bop back. It's great. And it's always strangers, and like Halo Infinite doesn't have the best pinging system like an Apex does, right? Where you can very anally like yo, here, there, and over there. It's just like a quick like little generic bop of like, oh, there's something over there. Maybe there's an enemy. But man, I don't know what it is. I can't stop playing. Like, it feels super familiar, but there's just enough that's like ever so slightly different that I can't stop playing this game.
It's been a
then
long
like
time. I mean, it's been years since Halo 5, and I think Halo 5's multiplayer, like I didn't like what they really did to it there all that much. It was fine, but for me, all the card stuff they tried to do in Halo 5 really overshadowed everything else they were trying to accomplish, and it was just like I just don't want to engage with this system. It's just like it just feels gross.
And then after seeing y'all talk about the campaign for which you could talk about, like I was like, oh, sign me the hell up, baby.
Yeah, the campaign is cool as hell. And I'm still not 100% sure what the actual full-on structure of it is going to end up being, because we can only, I played basically the first 4 missions of the game. And so there's like kind of a hard cutoff when it comes to like stuff that can be talked about. And I actually haven't really played. I have put more hours into it since then, but I have not actually gone to play mission 5. I've just been running around the world and, getting upgrade points to upgrade the grappling hook so I can use it, it's the cool, like a less of a cooldown on it, and just figuring out like, okay, how can I get up here and do this? And is there a way for me to jump over this gap that they clearly don't want me to get over yet? And so there are quotes out there from like Joe Staten saying like, hey, we don't really think about it as an open world game. And which is interesting because when you see that map, you're like, this is an open world game. And it makes me wonder if there are like multiple environments, or like if you eventually transition into like, okay, now you're on a different part of the ring. And so like maybe you could fast travel back to that landmass. But if there are like separate landmasses, I'm not actually sure. I'm not actually sure. But like, so there's mystery around that because I just don't really have a good sense of what the rest of the game looks like. But it reminds me a lot of ODST in some ways because it's, because it does have this kind of hub world, open world, if you want to call it that or not, I don't know. With then like fairly traditional Halo style campaign missions found in that environment. And Gears 5 is actually exactly this way. Like Gears 5 is like, a terrible open world game because it's like, here's this big open world with jack shit in it.
Yeah.
You got a cool ice sled though.
Yeah, you do get this cool ice sled, but there's like nothing in there except some occasional side stuff. And when you run to a point on the map, there's like this very dramatic, like, I am squeezing through this gap to hide a load time as we load the traditional Gears of War campaign experience. And then you get on the other side of it and you play a Gears of War level, and then you pop back out into the ice sled world. It's like, it's real. It's just it's a dumb. It doesn't really add much to the game, right? Yeah. So, but this feels like that those environments, I think, add a lot to the game. Like, it's been interesting having like very quiet moments of like, hey, I just went and did a bunch of crazy shit, and now I'm blowing up this ammo dump or prison or whatever, and then that's just like a side thing, and then that's done and we've taken it over, and I look around and it's Marines hanging out and they're like, let's go, Chief. I'm like, okay, yeah, cool, let's get in a car and go over here and fuck some more shit up. Or just like, later for y'all, I'm gonna just like grapple the fuck out of here and go do something else. And that stuff's just been super fun. Like I don't necessarily know the full nature of like how much of it that's gonna be. Like, it looks, there are outpost style things that are not entirely unlike a Far Cry game. There are like things that you see other open world games having done for side missions, and they're all in service of unlocking, or you raise your valor number. You get more and more valor as you play, and the valor number. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess so. You blow up stuff, you blow up their stuff, and you get valor for it. But I guess you have to do the blowing up, so maybe it's earned valor. But the more valor you have, the cooler shit you can spawn when you go to one of the bases that you've taken over. So it's just like a little vehicle spawner or a little weapon spawner, and the items at those locations depend on other missions you have taken on, either to raise that number, or some specific missions actually grant you specific weapons or things of that nature. And so it's just been really fun to get out there and do that stuff with the Halo tool set. And
in your experience, Jeff, of like roaming around the open world bits from your time with it, are they pressing you to go do stuff, or you kind of just have carte blanche to like mess around in the environment and then do stuff when you want to do stuff?
You can do stuff when you want to do stuff. At least at the point that I'm at in the game. Again, I mean, I can't tell you how many campaign missions there even are in the full game because I don't know. I know there's more than 4, and that's about it. It's really neat. I spent a lot of time just trying to grapple my way up the side of a mountain. Just like, is there anything cool up here? And be like, oh yeah, they put something up here. Cool.
Some valor.
Actually, they put an opportunity for me to earn a little more valor up here.
It's a crackdown. Valor orbs.
Basically, yeah. And yeah, I don't know. I'm having a really awesome time with that campaign. And the only weird thing about it, I guess, is I have no idea what the fuck is going on in that game story-wise.
Right, you have a new computer lady, right? But are you still worried about OG computer lady?
You are, yeah.
Okay.
There's
As you should be.
I mean, they left, so I think by the end of Halo 5, the story was that Cortana had basically rallied all of the system's AIs against humanity. I think was the overall story of that, if I remember right. And so she's still out there rogue, or I assume, I don't actually know. I think there are story bits in there where it's like, okay, we had a mission to delete Cortana and it was successul, but it's like, it's probably not, right? I don't know.
Why are they still putting her in computers?
But like there's this whole faction, the Banished, that if I understand correctly are from the Halo Wars games that I have no idea what the fuck happened in the ask me anything about the Halo Wars games other than all
nobody
humans.
knows. No one knows.
So like it thrusts you into this conflict, and I'm like, okay, I already have like a shaky memory of what the hell happened in Halo 5, and they just throw you into it, and then there's not a lot of like there's moment to moment like objectives that you're like, oh my god, this thing happened, we have to go do something, but like the overall state of the universe and what's going on is really just like, well, this faction wants to blow up humans, so we should probably stop them, and there hasn't really been a lot of nuance past that, so I don't know what the hell's happening in that game. They haven't really spent a lot of...
Maybe that's a good thing, because those games were just like post 9/11 nonsense. Like,
sure,
just like, let's kill the religious zealots. Like, who fucking cared about any of that shit? Like, I don't know. My ghost AI lady is disappeared. Like, I never cared about... I'm sure there are people who grow up with it who do, but like, it all just seemed like in the way of the
there's
game
like kind
part.
of zombies in it.
Like gobbledygook.
I feel like I care about Cortana and the state of that part of the story. The nature of like, okay, this this military lady made AI that could live in the back of this super soldier's head and do a bunch of cool shit. But by the way, the very nature of AI in this universe is after about 7 years, they go fucking bananas. And so you have to kill them by then, or else they go rampant and are fucking dangerous. Right? I mean, it's,
Blade Runner.
Yeah, of course. But like... the nature of like Cortana gone fucking rogue after the number of games they had where she was just like your constant companion living in your head. Like, I think there's a story to tell there, but they don't necessarily...
Maybe it's just more
I don't know how interested they are in telling it, so it's just weird. I don't know.
Yeah,
it's more like a soap opera where just sometimes shit happens for drama's sake.
Totally.
And it was about time there was like a backstab heel turn for somebody. Ugh.
Yeah.
Are there other characters in Halo besides Master Chief and Cortana? I don't even know.
Yeah, there's
they're like, it's like military guy, it's like or it's people from Master Chief's youth or something. So like, it's like, oh, here's Admiral Halsey, who's the lady who made the AI.
No one ever talks about Admiral
Exactly.
Halsey. I've never heard this guy in my life.
Her album's great.
I really don't
she's
think.
dope.
I really don't think if they even like started this game up with literally no cutscene and you just were like haloing your shit.
That is honestly not too far off from how this game opens. Like it is very focused on just like, fuck man, some shit went down. You better figure it out. Like it's really
do a Halo.
Yeah.
Gotta Halo these motherfuckers.
Halo? Just Halo. Like, and that's it. It should just say press start and you're like automatically shooting grunts.
It's not that. It's really not that far off
Well,
from that.
then they're
like,
doing the right thing, because
they're really focused on just like, fuck it, get in there. Like you go read about these guys on the pause screen if you want to know more. Like it's really
like I just don't know how you make a TV show out of it too. But like, God bless you.
But they've written
I'm
like
sure
20 fucking books or something, right? I mean,
I've
there's
read
like
2
Halo
of them.
lore for fucking.
Yeah?
There's thousands of words, tens of thousands of words devoted to Halo lore.
My
And
7th grade teacher did not like that book report.
So you read 2 Halo books, and
She would have preferred Animorphs.
So the first one was like, all right, I'm actually gonna do this again. What was the story? Like, what had you?
There was a sale at the bookstore. Okay. My mom didn't want to get me
That's how you start
manga.
the
She
book
was like,
report.
"Go get a book."
Look, there was
Something
a
with
sale
words in
the
it.
bookstore.
Yeah.
No
like a lot of the story of
pictures.
Halo Reach was told in a book called The Fall of Reach. Like they,
Yes.
that was a book before it was a game. And so like they've, but a lot of that is just like side story, backstory as to like what was going on. It's like Rogue One, it's like what the fuck was going on while Master Chief was doing this shit. It's like, oh, these other Spartans were over here doing this shit. And without them, Halo 1 would have never happened. And you're like, wow, neat.
Just great, wonderful, awesome, amazing. It's okay to like to not have a great story. Like the Halo was good this time.
ODST
Don't
did
worry.
though, so that's like
ODST is
ODST is
yeah,
fantastic.
that's like
You know,
yeah,
you
it's
know,
like
broken-
self-contained in its own thing.
The
Right? So
Smoky
Yeah, Broken
Jazz
Clock
Club
twice
of
a day,
Halo
yeah.
games.
yeah.
Just,
I didn't think the Halo stories were bad. They just were like
No, they're fine.
they
Forgettable.
they were simple motivation to get you through a game that was really good. Like so I just don't need the focus to be the story. The focus was never the story. So like if they're doing open world, I can see the story getting in the way maybe. So that's kind of if they're sort of like being a little bit more flippant with the motivations of everyone, like sure, like they've earned it. They've told their story. Let's just like
Yeah, they finished the fight. Let me start a fight.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so it's kind of the weird thing, because if you think about this as Halo 6, like we should be refinishing the fight, right? This is the end of another trilogy of games that are like ostensibly about Cortana going crazy and what the fuck happens. But like I said, I'm sure this game probably deals with that at some point, but it does not seem especially concerned with making that the main thrust when you turn it on.
Like the title of the game is a bit of a clue here, right? Like they're
Yeah,
trying,
right.
this is
It's
trying,
not
this
Halo
is a clean
6.
break.
Yeah, this is
like
yeah. And it's interesting, and the guy from the trailer, the pilot of that ship, the guy that they stole Timur's likeness.
Albert Einstein.
they did.
Have you seen this guy? He looks exactly like
This
Tam.
guy
was gonna sue somebody.
This guy looks a lot like Tam. Except of key difference here. This guy sucks. He is just a goddamn pussy. He just wants to fucking leave. He just like, no, all right, cool. I found a Spartan. That's great. We're going, right? We're gonna leave. And you're like, no, I've got to go fuck people up. Up is the key.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, I forgot
What
that
kind
part.
of Halo?
This guy has not
yeah.
honed his blade by playing
Gotta
Elden
get
Ring
to
over and over
Halo.
again.
Exactly. Yeah.
just
So
be
it's
in
like
the suit.
he's just like the whole open of the game is him just going like, and you going like, no, I've got to bring them back there. Well, yeah, I've got to go kill a lot of people first.
I gotta collect some valor.
Yeah, we've got to get the valor. So that's kind of the thrust of it so far. Just there's been a couple of things that have happened, and I won't get into any more detail beyond that for people who do want to see that stuff firsthand, of course.
Is there a part where I'm driving a warthog over a big map and the music goes Yes, great. Halo achieved. We've done it.
Yes.
We did it,
Yeah.
everyone. Halo.
And it's it is in a lot of ways it feels like, and I'm not the first person to say this, but it feels like the modern re-realization of what people thought of Halo 1.
Yes. The silent cartographer, but the map.
Yeah, the idea of just like, well, what if the map really was that big? What if the Halo really was this big ass ring? And again, I don't know how much of it you see. Like, in my head, it's before this came out, and we kind of had an inkling of like, hey, there's going to be some open world stuff in here. the idea I always thought of as just like, are you just going to be able to just like drive the entire ring? Can I do laps? Can I race? Because they're like, you know, like we race around the ring.
Without spoiling other games, it's been a really good year for games if you want to go around a cool ass ring world. I think. Well,
Danny, why'd you spoil Pokemon?
Yeah, people should play games that I tweet about. No spoilers.
Okay.
I refuse.
Fucking ban, okay? What's happening?
I will not. Anyway, long story short, I really had a fantastic time with that early part of Halo. It's a lot of fun. The grappling hook is super fun to use and hijack vehicles and do all the dumb, cool shit you can do with a grappling hook. It feels like the people who made this game sat down and like they kind of rethought like, well, what if you were trying to like realize the vision of Halo 1 now, what would you do? But then they were also like, yo man, Just Cause has some cool shit in it. And some other stuff like that. So like you see other bits of other games in there quite a bit, I think. And I think that works to its benefit. It's really neat. It's since I started playing it, it's been the thing that I have been thinking a lot about and wanting to spend more time with than I've had. So I'm looking forward to, you know, getting through the rest of it and kind of just seeing what the nature of it is. But, you know, that's something we'll probably talk about more in, God, I guess it's only like a couple of weeks here, huh?
A week away? Yeah, I'm
Wild.
so excited.
Sure.
And the multiplayer's been so
check out the
good.
video
Like,
on the site.
it feels like
we
such
got a video up.
good, like it just feels like a solid modern Halo, the multiplayer side of it.
Yeah.
And I'm not even like a massive Halo fan. I've really enjoyed a lot of those games, but this one I'm 100% in. It
Nice.
just feels so good. I can't wait to see that campaign.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's great to have a great shooter in a year where it was starting to feel like there wasn't going to be one of those between Call of Duty and Battlefield and some of that other stuff. So yeah,
I'm still playing that fucking Call of Duty multiplayer like an asshole.
really,
Why?
really. I know. I saw that they did a free multiplayer trial for it, which I don't know if. Do you think that's like? There's been all the reports about how it's not selling, and I wonder if that's something they're doing strictly because they like. Was it in their plan to go like, hey, we need a free demo because Battlefield's coming out and fuck them, or is this like a
play? Basically.
Well, they wouldn't have. It'd probably be hard for them to react to that fast. I would think the Halo stuff because that did kind of drop out of nowhere.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it was part of the plan. I mean, it's fine. That game is it's fine. I am in a unique situation where, like, if I want to speak to my friends, this is how I have to do it. Right? If I want to keep in touch.
No, I get that.
With like 4 people that I would normally not talk to or see. This is what I gotta do. Sometimes you gotta play Vanguard to stay in touch with friends, supposedly friends. I don't know. But,
yeah, I don't know. A friend would do that to you. It's kind of rough.
I know. Well, makes me think too.
Have you seen Shipment? I understand that the Shipment map has rolled out over there.
It's there.
It's Shipment.
It's you know, I play it for too long and I start to like tremor a little bit, and I'm just like, all right, I gotta not do that. I don't understand these people who do 24/7 shipment. You're doing damage. It's just I'm not a doctor.
They're doing damage, but they're gaining so much XP.
I'm gonna cash in this token and get 4x XP. It's just like, all right, I don't know. They have to nerf that. There's one gun they absolutely have to nerf because it is like
The blunderbuss because it's World War II.
No, there's none of that. Is there? Maybe there is. I don't know. There's this one, I think it's called like the Automator or something like that. And it just seems like everyone's using it. You're playing in a game with 24 people. They're all using the same gun. And you're like, what is this? What are we doing?
It's good.
Anyway, Call of Duty
AK-47,
Vanguard out now. Yeah.
That's such a weird game.
It's a weird game. It is for sure.
Yeah. Jan,
Jeff.
we all know. Everyone, we've talked at length about BDSM on this website, but what about BDSP?
Every time I
what it
read that
is.
acronym, I think it's BDSM. And then I just imagine Pikachu wore a luchador mask at one point. Who's to say
That
Pikachu
counts.
wouldn't put on a leather mask and
A ball
have at
gag.
you? Yeah,
I can see Pikachu in just like one of those full latex.
yeah. 5,000. That art probably exists somewhere.
Just his tail sticking out.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
Or like a pseudo Wudo, just like pounding its like rock tree fists and looking at you. Yep. Yep.
This new Pokemon, Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl.
Yes.
Bondage, domination, sadomasochism, Pikachu.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's what it is.
That's it.
I gotta write that down for later. This came out last Friday, and this is a remake of Diamond and Pearl, the 4th gen Pokemon that came out on the DS. And this is actually Diamond and Pearl is actually my favorite games in the series, so I was really excited about this. And I am sad to report that I am not as happy playing through this, because this is technically now the 3rd mainline game in a Pokemon that have come out on the Switch, not including Snap or Pokemon Unite. And this is the 3rd time they've done it completely differently, because Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, some people thought that was too simple. That was just like a remake of the first Red and Blue, and then Sword and Shield came out to very mixed reception, and I'm still having some tough time figuring out whether or not
Sword and Shield was mixed? I didn't realize that.
Oh, very mixed. And I'm still having a tough time unraveling whether or not, do I actually like those games, or do I only like one very hyper-specific aspect of those games? And after coming off Shin Megami Tensei 5, which is a game that actively hates me, and then playing Pokemon Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl, I feel like they really need to include some type of difficulty slider in these games. And it's just so weird going back and forth between the different art styles, because now everyone is super chibi again. It's over the top, kind of like a callback to the original games. You're not like a bigger model where it's third person anymore. And it is almost like a facelift of the original game. They even do some stuff where in the original Diamond Pearl, they played with a second screen because it came out on the DS. Now they just do it in like a little pip on the screen. So if you want to look at your pedometer, the time, or like the status for your Pokemon, that's there. And it's just weird from being able to see the Pokemon in the overworld and just being able to kind of like strategize what you want to catch, where it is, avoiding the stuff, to going all the way back to random encounters in the grass and caves.
Oh yeah.
It's just I just don't like it, because it was just like the convenience sake of like, yo, I'm specifically looking for this Pokemon because either you're trying to complete your Pokedex, or if you are into the competitive scene, you really are just trying to find a specific Geodude that has this ability. You can't do that. You have to go through like the random battles all over again. And the EXP share is still around, so I am currently like right at the third or fourth gem, I think, and all of my Pokemon are over leveled. Like the whole team is like maxed out. And in previous games you could turn that off. I forget whether or not that is an option here, but it's neat in some aspects, because like for newer players, for sure, like you don't have to grind anymore, but the EXP share is a little too generous, where suddenly like all my Pokemon are growing up, and I was like, what the hell, dog? Like you were just a small monkey like an hour ago, now you're a big one. And
Is that a new Pokemon, Small Monkey?
No.
They're
This
really
the same
phoning
fire
it in
monkey
these days.
Chimchar, right?
It's the same fire monkey. Also, Team Chimchar for life, Gen 4. That's the strongest one. I won't hear anything else.
I'm into fire types, so I'm on your side.
Thank you, Jess. You get to keep your job.
Fire types build character.
There we go. That's right.
And
And
do some shit.
it's just weird how it just opens up, and then it doesn't give you like the same quality of life stuff like the newer, or quote, not newer games, but Let's Go Pikachu and then Sword and Shield. You could access your Pokemon box from anywhere, so you could switch your Mons out on the fly. In here, you have to wait maybe like an hour, 2 hours to meet a specific character. That's like, nah, dog, just kidding. You can access them anywhere. I haven't gotten the chance yet to dip into the competitive side of it. So I can't speak to that just yet. I know there's a lot of people that are jazzed because there's no more Dynamaxing, there's no Mega Evolutions, I think, and there's no Z moves, so it's just straight up 2v2 or like 1v1 battling.
That always confused me anyway, so like that's a plus for me.
But the abilities and the items, they're all still there. If you want that level of complexity, I think the thing that's just like, I think I want something a little bit more difficult. Like, I wish you could just roll up to this game and every battle's 2v2. Or to just make them mean more. Because I know that the game, like, their target demographic is constantly, like, the younger generation. And then I'm aging out of this bracket. But, God, I just want a tougher Pokemon game where, like, these gym battles actually mean something. And it just doesn't feel like cheap RNG where suddenly the AI is not playing with like competitive rules, because like in competitive Pokemon you can't use items to heal your Pokemon. You just gotta let them die. But in the game, the gym leaders will be like, nah, you know what? I know I was down to the wire. Back to full health, baby.
I feel like that's classic though. They've always done that.
Yeah,
like
you gotta have a boss cheat on you, like
it's like the stakes have risen. It's basically I'm fighting this mill tank all over again. God damn it!
I just wish that those swings would make not that like using an item doesn't make sense, but like would matter in the complexity of the weird Pokemon chess game that sometimes takes place.
Yeah, I feel like you're right about like there needs to be difficulty levels at this point because you are dealing with two distinct demographics. The original demographic, 12-year-olds, and the evolved demographic, people who were 12 years old 20 years ago.
Yeah.
So, and that's a pretty big gulf of skill sets and interests, and I do think that like there should be I'm from the OG Pokemon like 1990 something. Like generation.
Boomer mode.
Yeah, boomer mode.
And they get easy mode, so they don't have to.
Please let me skip the first 3 hours where they're like, "This is a potion. This is what it does," like sort of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, like it's nice like going through these the older game and then just like seeing these things that I remember encountering however old I was when the original came out. It's just like now with all the stuff that I come to Pokemon for, it's just like it's not exactly keeping me enticed. And maybe it's because like I'm into the BDSM that is Shin Megami Tensei. You know? Where it's like it's actively
you like the rough
saying
stuff.
Yeah. It's like, yo, give me your money and then I'll join you. Here the Pokemon is just like, all right, I'll just hop into this ball. Thanks, dog.
You got the right balls, I'll come with you.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, the ball economy though is messed up in the early part of this. Normally
I always say this.
It does
In
not
this
cost
ball economy.
It does not cost that much to get a net ball to help with bug and water types. But they're trying to charge me like $1,000 a pop for a net ball. Who the fuck? What kind of shop you think you're running, lady?
That's a lot of money to get your balls net.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is my guy Herdier in here?
No, Herdier doesn't exist yet.
Fuck me.
It's BDSM. He's now hurtier.
Ooh. But like Gen 4 Pokemon, like those are my favorite like group because I love Garchomp, the shark, land shark boy, and then
that guy's cool.
Lucario's there. And also you get baby Snorlax in this, so that's tight.
So that's tight.
I'm back in.
Love me a Munchlax. Love me a
Garchomp's
Munchlax.
Cool.
Munchlax.
Yeah.
That sounds like
Munchlax
like a dietary aid for blocked bowels.
Yeah,
Munchlax.
take it. I take one every month.
Yeah, whether you need to or not.
Keep
Jesse,
clean.
you sounds like you had some booster shot downtime, and perhaps you got back into Animal Crossing.
Yeah, all of my critters informed me they had not seen me in 7 months. I felt bad about that.
Wow.
Fuck them.
I think they thought I got kidnapped or something.
Tell them you did, like have an adventurous life in their eyes,
You didn't send a search party?
Yeah,
Apple.
what do you think
Right?
about it? Like, come on.
Hey, what'd you do? Just sat there? You just sat there on your ass?
Cranston, didn't you notice I wasn't around? Weren't you concerned
Kick all
for
those
me?
fuckos out of town. You don't need them.
It's good. It's crazy that they would just be like, "Where were you?"
Tom
Shut
Nook
up.
didn't mount a search
Shut
party
up.
for me.
Yeah,
I run this town.
not one APB.
All points bells. But yeah, freaking they gave us an update which has like a bunch of stuff already, and that one's free. And then there's also Happy Home Paradise, which for some reason I have a hard time remembering the name of, even though they say it about 10,000 times. But that's $25 unless you have like the really expensive like Nintendo Game Pass, whatever their equivalent is, and then you get it for free, which is cool. And then if you stop paying for it, you get to keep all the items you got, but you don't get to keep all the like abilities to design your homes very good or the missions or stuff like that. But yeah, I was sick with so much bonitis, so I was in bed and just like feeling creaky and old and just playing this little game, and it was very soothing. And I feel like I'm actually good at designing stuff now. I feel like I've got like an aesthetic ability fostering within me, which I didn't think I had.
Those sound like questions, but I'll take them as like statements.
You know, I just always thought like, oh, I wish I was more into the decorating stuff, because I have always seen other people. I've got friends of mine whose islands are just like fucking legit works of art, and it's like, how is this physically possible that you are like, I thought only a programmer at Nintendo could possibly make an island this nice. Like the amount of work and like the discipline you have to, you know, give enough of a crap to do this tedious work was just a little too tedious for me to justify the work. You know, it wasn't fun. And now it's like they took out a lot of the tedium to designing stuff, and it's like, oh, okay, I get it now. It's fun. This rules. There's partition walls. I can make accent walls. This is dope. But yeah, I love it. We did a quick look of it. Me and Jan, check it out. It was really funny, if I do say so myself.
Yeah, I said this in the quick look, but I'd bounced off Animal Crossing maybe like 2-3 months after it originally came out. But seeing this once you
get everything like up and running, like you got the museum, you got like your fossils all figured out and stuff like that, it feels like, what do I do now? I feel like I'm just doing my dailies and I'm not having fun anymore, unless I assign myself a huge, you know, undertaking infrastructurally on my island, which is such a kerfuffle and it's so frustrating to do. So I ran out of stuff to do, and now you have these little missions to do, basically, to design these little people's vacation homes, and they all got different themes, and it's great. It's very soothing.
It's a nice like weird puzzle challenge of like, in the quick look, Jess had to design something for a gamer, and then we made it a real trashy sloppy boy place.
I was gonna say, it's just like a big garbage dump.
Yep, dishes were on the floor, cables were on the floor.
6 monitors.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 4 monitors.
I recommend watching the highlight reel that I made, because you'll see what kind of crimes we get up to. It's only 5 minutes long.
Nice. Custom designs that you forget about after not visiting your island in 7 months.
Yeah.
It was great.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. All right. We'll check out the video on giantbomb.com. Exo One, Danny. I've seen people talking about Exo One. It sounds like a beautiful thing. Tell me more about it.
Like a screensaver thing? What are we doing here?
Yeah, it looks beautiful.
Like
I think it's been doing the rounds on
flying
Twitter,
toasters.
Right? Yeah, just like a beautiful... Okay, so how do I explain this? Imagine the craft from, let's say, kind of looks like the one from Flight of the Navigator, maybe. Okay. Imagine that, but it's kind of like Flower. So it's a game where you're you know, just like going along the landscape. But in the world you're in is kind of like a Ridley Scott type alien environment. Ooh. Like a otherworldly... It's been a bumper year for these types of like hard sci-fi games with like, I feel like, you know, Jet was a game where I was doing a lot of this alien world going around. But basically the moment to moment, and Flower definitely sells it short because it's more open than this, but basically you pilot this craft, and the way of getting momentum is that you have a button that essentially makes gravity really heavy for the craft, and you use it to almost like a sort of skateboard or like snowboarder to gain momentum by going down a hill, and then you release it when you're going up an incline, and you use that to launch this basically what looks like a sphere into the sky. And then there's another button that turns it into a slightly flatter sphere, which then glides.
A puck?
kind of like a puck, I guess.
Or do you say
It's
more
black.
disc-like?
No, it seems like you're describing a puck, Jan.
Finally, sci-fi hockey, not since like Shuffle Puck Cafe or whatever have we.
It kind of looks like a saucer.
Yeah, it's kind of looks
Relax.
like what was in those weird videos off the East Coast that all the pilots are now saying are UFOs, so we can fund a whole new military war against nothing.
The thing you're describing, though, with like the ebb and the flow of the gravity, it just sort of, I don't know what it did to me, but I really.
Yeah, that sounds very chill.
Sounds nice. It sounds very chill.
It's very
nice.
satisfying. It's like those. It's a video game equivalent of one of those sort of looping videos that you get on Twitter. But when it works, so there's a bunch of other stuff that gets added. Each level is basically another world, and everything is esoteric and weird, right? So the rules of what's going on and how this ship operates are unique to this world, and you sort of have to figure them out. So, for instance, when you're in clouds, I guess perhaps because of some sort of cooling thing, you get sort of like launched further into the sky, and then you have these moments where you sort of crest above the cloud line, and it just looks like the game looks incredible. It looks really like beautiful vistas, clouds, and then you sort of dip back underneath, and it's all like thunderstorms and stuff. It's short. I think it's somewhere between like 3 to 4 hours or something like that. It's free on Game Pass. And I think it's $15 on Steam, but they do have a demo, which I think they put up even before the game came out. It's called the Prologue. So it's one of these games basically that like either you feel it and it feels good, or it's not for you. So I'd encourage people to check it out on Game Pass or check out the demo if they're on PC. Although it might be on Game Pass Ultimate, I'm not sure. But I'm really enjoying it. It's very like chill, because the other game I'm playing at the moment, Riders Republic, is basically I'm doing the same thing. I'm just playing these games chill, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they're put on a podcast or listen to the music or whatever it is.
Right
So
on.
it's neat. Yeah.
Before we break for news, Jess, you have a bit here about Phantasmagoria 2. Has it really been 25 years since that thing?
Oh my god.
It has been, on Friday, it will have been 25 years since the release of Phantasmagoria 2, a puzzle of flesh, an FMV horror point-and-click video game that is not very good, but was super interesting for the time because it was like a super, like, you know, progressive, oddly progressive game for 1996. I did a whole video essay about it. Go check it out. It's called A Puzzle of Flesh in an Era of Strife. Goofy title. I'm still like, is that the title? It's kind of dramatic. But I love that game. It's just so interesting to me. And the what's really interesting is that for the 25th anniversary of this game, the guy that played the main character, Curtis Craig, his name is Paul Morgan Stetler, he has been doing a project on YouTube called Conversations with Curtis that has been happening for a couple of months now. I was on one of the streams of this, actually. And they're really great, like, live streams. He's gathering all the other actors and catching up with them and talking behind the scenes stuff. He talked to the director and, like, the music guy and all this stuff. And he finally tracked down the actual writer of the game, Lorelei Shannon. This was written by a woman. I love it. Horror games written by women. More of those, please. And they're going to have an interview with her, and that's super exciting. And it's on Friday. I definitely had like something open that said when this was. Friday, November 26th, 11 a.m. Pacific, on Conversations with Curtis's YouTube channel. They also have a Twitter account. Check it out. Paul Morgan Stetler is like a total like sweetheart, big goofy dad energy. He's just adorable. I just love that guy.
Right on. All right, cool.
Yeah.
Well,
Wow,
yeah,
it's
check that
25
out.
years.
25 years. Yeah, it's a long
25 years. Amazing.
It's a long ass time. This break will be shorter than 25 years. We're going to take a break and then come back and get into the news. So stay tuned for that. Colorful underwear and socks delivered to your house? Could it be possible? It's true. Stance is making it a reality. Stance, they sent some socks over here that are very brightly colored, but if you're looking for something a little more incognito, they got no-shows. No-show socks, baby. They're back. They never left. What are you talking about? We're talking about Stance. Stance was founded in 2009, and Stance apparel represents a radical reinvention of socks, t-shirts, and more. They're focusing on comfort, quality, and creativity to bring an atypical aesthetic alongside some of pop culture's hottest collaborators for the ultimate in style and self-expression. Because everything you wear should be a direct extension of who you are and how you feel, if that's what you're looking for, right? You know? They got abstract designs, they got some licensed stuff. They got like the Wu-Tang Clan and Major League Baseball, Harry Potter. Everyone loves Harry Potter. Marvel, Pixar, Barbie. All of these brands could be on your feet. Or, I mean, they've got original stuff too. If you're just like, brands, get away. They sent over some more kind of abstract designs that, you know, you don't have to make your ankles look like a billboard if that's just not your thing, right? And they're socks. You wear them on your feet. They feel good. You put shoes on over the socks. Maybe you don't. I don't know. What are you doing? You staying home? You just looking for some socks for a little bit of heat around the feet? They got you. The Stance philosophy is that a perfect fit is more important than simply fitting in. And that those that feel good do good. Go see for yourself. Just head on over to stance.com and pick out whatever styles you like. Enjoy the color and comfort of a life less ordinary with Stance. We're back, and now it is time for, you guessed it, the news.
These buttons want to work.
Those buttons. These bleeds right here.
Just something just popped in my head real quick. Can you help me out here? Just I feel like I ask this every year. What time can I start drinking tomorrow?
Not right now.
Well, tomorrow's Wednesday.
Tomorrow's Wednesday,
I'm gonna
dude.
be there tomorrow.
Oh, you're having a pre-Thanksgiving
Dinner.
Yeah, we're traveling a little bit.
1
driving.
p.m.
1:30.
Like,
Because some people have
crack one.
like some people have like the dinner so early that it's like at 3 p.m. or something, which is absurd to me. It should be like
I should
earliest
get the
5 p.m.
schedule.
I got invited to a Thanksgiving like a couple of years ago that like traumatized me because it was like my first Thanksgiving away from my family, and I actually had a friend I thought for once. She was like, "Oh, you should come to my Thanksgiving. We invite a whole bunch of other like my dad works at the school, grad students come over," and like she didn't tell me the time. She said whenever's fine. I was like, "Okay, I'm gonna bring some of like my mom's stuffing because you know whatever, I'm gonna not come swinging. I'm gonna bring a big old bottle of wine, some stuffing," and so she's like, "Okay, just come whenever." And I came at like 4:30 or 5. Everyone was fucking done eating. No one texted me. No one called me. I come in like packing with all the stuffing and shit. I'm dressed nice. Everyone's dressed casual. I was just like, great. I'm the jackass here. Thanks for telling me.
Yeah,
And
they
then I
should have
had
told
one
you the
glass
time.
of
That's
wine.
absurd.
I had one glass of wine, and this bitch who is not my friend asked me to drive her somewhere to take care of somebody's fucking dogs.
Were the dog's cute?
No,
Yeah.
they were big and horrible and got all over my.
Thanksgiving
It was a
Day
nice
miracle
outfit.
right there.
Oh my god, I'm so mad.
Does that sound crazy though? Because I really do need to, like,
No, drink.
do something.
I mean,
Is
what
it
do you
bad?
care what these people talk about you the rest of the year when you don't see them, right? I mean, just start drinking at fucking like
true.
10:30. Like, who cares?
See,
and they'll be like,
I'm not.
Jeff
I'm not.
seems like he's really letting himself go. We got hammered at 11 a.m. And you're like, fuck yeah. I didn't have to talk to anybody. It was great. Like,
I just
you know.
flipped the table at breakfast.
Yeah.
Also, this
I'm
is
already
like-
wasted.
This is like a social reset year. Like, it's the first time I've seen people in a little while because of the pandemic. What's their standards going to be for you? Low. They haven't seen you
I'm
in a
not
while.
even bringing pants that are not
Reset.
sweatpants. Is that fucked up?
Is there a
No,
hockey
I
game on
don't-
tomorrow?
There's always hockey on, Danny boy.
Freebie. That's a freebie then. What are you talking about? It doesn't matter. I'm sitting there to watch
Yeah.
the game.
exactly.
Yeah, I'm saying.
You need to drink to watch the game.
My sweats.
This sport is terrible. It's so fucking boring. Can't
Yeah.
even see the puck from the television. What's the point?
Get him.
Need
I
to
actually
drink
like
to see
hockey.
anything.
Get him, Daddy.
I can't do
You
it. I
do.
can't
That's
do
the
it.
thing.
Yeah.
That's what's. It hurt you to even lie about fucking hating hockey. I saw it in
but
your
it
eyes. You
hurt
couldn't
so
do it.
bad.
Yeah, especially because like hockey is like, what if soccer was better, but not good, but better?
I mean, like,
Sorry,
sure,
Jeff.
go after the English
Jokes
sport.
don't land with me tonight.
I don't have an affinity. with
Hey,
that.
I'm on your side here.
Cold 5. Coming
I'm
at
on
you.
your side.
Cold
Pro
5.
Pro
bro.
11.
Fucking winning.
I-
Fucking.
I like
11.
soccer
Winning
a
11
lot.
is the best thing about soccer. This is the two words: winning 11.
Did you really renamed it
Konami-
again? Sorry, that was a very good segue and I ruined it. But do you know that they renamed it again?
Yeah, we talked about it.
It was eFootball, and then they rename it again to what, like not
now
football? Like
the last time I looked at it, it was called. I want to
Pitch
get
11.
this right because I could not believe it. It was like a real oh shit, we need to rebrand this, and it's still called eFootball on Steam. I want to say on PlayStation it was
Go
called
see football.
eFootball PES 2021 Lite, like LITE.
PES.
Yeah, Pro Evolution
okay.
Soccer. So that they were like, shit, nobody knows what this is. We better put PES back in. And then they put Lite in.
It's like a SEO, like an SEO for the shitty, like the PlayStation Store sucks shit.
Yeah.
For surfacing
things.
So I bet it's like some element of like, well, we see that there's a lot of failed searches for PES in here, so we have to do something, and say they renamed their product to try to catch some of that, right? That's my guess.
I bet you're right. Yeah, that they just had to stick PES in there somewhere just to catch because all the old ones were coming in. Yeah, eFootball PES 2021.
Soccer.
Anyway,
they should make a movie on that.
Some people are saying that that's last year's game, and the 2022 is this year's game.
Oh,
or
maybe. Was that what they called it last year? What they called? Fuck.
I don't know. Maybe I don't know.
eFootball.
Kojima Productions, makers of video game.
Allegedly.
Just the one. They are ready to expand. They're like, we put out Death Stranding. We're moving on. We're ready for bigger and better things now, and so they are opening an office in LA, and they are looking to expand into television, film, and music.
And maybe they'll make a video game.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. No. This. Sure. This is who do they have? Riley Russell, who is a long time person over at PlayStation, and I believe most recently I want to say was in like a legal, like chief legal officer or some kind of role, some kind of legal team lawyer in role, and they're gonna open an office in LA. And this is the quote from Russell here, according to GamesIndustry.biz: "The new division will be tasked with working with creative and talented professionals in television, music, and film, as well as the more familiar games industry. The team has as its charter the goal of expanding the reach and awareness of the properties now under development at Kojima Productions, and to make them even more a part of our popular culture." And so this it's like a biz dev team.
Yeah, I was gonna say like there's not gonna be like a Kojima headquarters in the middle of like Hollywood now. It's just I feel like a couple of guys booking meetings, trying to get meetings.
Right. Yeah. Or that like that's the thing is like what I wonder what form that takes. Are they like, fuck it, we're putting out albums now, we signed a band, like what is
Low Roar.
Yeah, it's Low. Yes, our first signee, Low Roar, our only signee, Low Roar. We try to get churches and they said no. Yeah, I don't know what the actual goal is here beyond like whether that's like, hey, let's expand on. Let's get some tendrils in Hollywood because Kojima really wants to put more actors in stuff.
He loves canoodling with them Hollywood folks.
Yeah, definitely does.
Toro and
definitely
everybody. Oh, he loves it.
And it'll give him home base when he's in town. Also, I mean, if they've got an office there, that's like, hey, now he can kind of post up there for meetings or whatever. If he is out here trying to line up other stuff or whatever else. But I wonder, like, the working with creative and talented professionals in television, film, music, and film, expand the reach and awareness of our properties. So I wonder if that's like hey, we're going to take meetings with Netflix when they say they want to make a Death Stranding TV show, those sorts of pitches, like not actually developing original properties for these other mediums, less about that.
Properties plural. What other properties do they own besides Death Stranding?
Ones that haven't been
released yet? Yeah. So
future
Luden's TV show, please.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, they are working on something else. So there's at least one other thing, but I wonder, Yeah,
there's constant rumors and wish fulfillment that Kojima is going to somehow get his hands on the Silent Hill IP It's not going to happen. Please, everybody, stop talking about it. It hurts me to hear.
But also, would you want that? I mean, like that's
I would, because I'm brain dead at this point, and I just want content.
I guess
from the franchise.
It's like, is he the guy you want to make a Silent Hill game? It's not like he is necessarily synonymous with that franchise. Like, there's a lot of people that could make that game, including people that have like a legacy with it.
For sure,
just,
but
the constant desire to get him to, like, just because it's a Konami game, it's just like, man, we're gonna get Hideo Kojima to make the next Contra. It's like, fuck up, he's gonna make Puyan 2. Like, come on, it's not.
I think the thing is that after 4.5 games developed by non-Japanese people, because the fandom is like oddly racist about that, but by the West, and they're all terrible, even though the fourth game is bad too. It's just like any person with any name and any like recognition and any like ability to put out cool, interesting, weird stuff is like a step up, like a big step up, because we've been the redheaded stepchild of Konami's IP. I'm just
gonna put this out here. I'm just gonna say this.
Okay.
Does Silent Hill actually deserve?
That's
we don't have the time for this.
Like, after this many years, does the Silent Hill
it.
franchise actually deserve to get a new entry or get like a classic dev team assembled and like this?
This is what's interesting. Classic dev team is a big thing that keeps coming up. Like, oh, Team Silent, get Team Silent back. But Team Silent was just like some randos that they shoved into a closet and they accidentally made Silent Hill. And the team was constantly changing between games on top of that. But my opinion is, sure, fuck it. Why not? There's only like, what other horror IPs are out there? This and Resident Evil and like Dead Space, like the big ones. This is a big one.
I will not have you remove Dino Crisis from the history.
Thank you, Danny. Thank you for being brave enough to say it. I wasn't going to. You're my hero.
Also, I've always said, check every other podcast that I've rambled about this shit about in the past, but I've always said like Silent Hill is rife for an anthology situation with different directors, different like different development teams, and just don't make them related to each other and make it like a Twilight Zone sort of situation. No one's doing that. It pisses me off.
Is the Silent Hill IP actually popular enough to warrant that level of investment?
That's the thing. That is the thing. And when it comes to Konami, the answer is fuck no. But I think it's not. It doesn't have to be as niche as it currently is. I think because it's horror. Horror is very popular. It's super streamable. Like PT was huge because it was like this streamable thing that people needed to, unpack and understand, and it's so mysterious.
But now you're asking Konami to make a good video game, and they
that's
just
the problem
don't do that anymore.
But that's why people want Koji Pro, which isn't Konami, to do Silent Hill, which I totally get, but Konami's never gonna let loose this IP like ever, unless like there's some sort of change in leadership, or someone gets visited by 3 ghosts of video games past, present, and future, and guilts them into
can we make those? Can we make the dreams? Can we do that?
In dreams.
Yeah.
In dreams. We'll make the dreams in dreams.
I would play an open world Silent Hill where the horn went off and you had to like imagine a Death Stranding where the horn goes off and you have to like fucking get out, find some shit before it's like on a cycle, like every couple of hours the whole thing happens.
That was
I'm back on board.
Isn't that just Bowser's Fury?
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, it totally is. Yeah. We have such terrible imaginations in like fandom like this. Like it's just like, well, okay, let's take this one game or let's take this one auteur that seems like culturally somewhat attached to it, and we'll put them together. It reduces games development down to this sort of like pantomime tarot card reading of how like very basic elements that sort of we see end up being the reasons why games are good or bad. And it's like I think the best thing that happened to and I'm no Silent Hill expert, you're the Silent Hill expert here, but I love the Silent Hill has turned into this weird schlocky thing, because that's what happens to all good horror franchises. They don't
What's funny is that, like,
stay that way. They have one time.
What's really funny is that Silent Hill doesn't know that it turned to a schlocky bullshit thing. Resident Evil knows. It gets it. It leans into it. I respect that so much. But Silent Hill Downpour, Origins, Homecoming, Book of Memories, if you want to count that. All of those are just like,
Oh my gosh.
yes, Silent Hill, lore. Here's the lore. And it's like, no, well, maybe Book of Memories wasn't that serious. It was a dungeon crawler. But like, they're very self-serious, which is funny because the original games have endings where like there's just joke endings where stupid shit happens. I'm trying not to spoil it for Jan. He doesn't know. Don't spoil it for Jan.
It's all deadly serious, Jan.
Don't worry, Jen. Don't worry, Jen.
But yeah, like I would almost at this point you either have to be serious and be good and competent, or you have to just give up and be goofy and just lean into it, like what Resident Evil has. And then sometimes they have these incredible moments where it's like it's both. Resident Evil can be incredibly cool and effectively scary in a big serious way, and also there's a psychotic doll chasing you through this house, playing hide and seek with you and laughing at you. That's hilarious. It can do both things. And like, I'm so jealous. You Resident Evil fans, you have the world's your oyster right now.
Yeah, it's wild.
That
resurgence was out of nowhere.
My question
so
is,
lucky.
does this open the door for a Norman Reedus album?
He
certainly.
surely has one already, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He must.
Okay, maybe,
Yeah,
but it
but
makes it a
does he?
more realistic thing now.
Let's ask El Bummer. Does Norman Reedus have an
I
album?
mean,
He has a TV show about bikers.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
still can't tell. Is that show like is that just him riding a bike and talking to other people on a bike, or is that like we ride bikes and this is a drama?
There's an electronic experimental spoken word album, the likes of which have never been seen before.
Oh my
This
god.
is how it was announced. The Norman Reedus
Spoken
album.
word doesn't count.
I'm trying to find a
Okay,
date
okay.
on this website though, and I can't. There's no.
Okay, here's an either or for everyone. Death Stranding TV show, or starring Norman Reedus, or starring Norman Reedus, Boondock Saints game.
Oh my God, Danny.
Death Stranding
what are you
TV show.
doing?
Death
Can we
Stranding
have a
TV show.
shit sandwich
Death
or a
Stranding TV
diarrhea
show.
salad? What do we like?
Just imagine
Death
Willem
Stranding
Dafoe.
TV show, but like the video only plays if you're holding a controller and holding down both fucking triggers the entire time.
There was a firefight. Yeah, I don't want that. I don't want either of those, Danny.
I think
Thanks
Death
for
Stranding
putting that in my head.
TV show that just like all the B plots would be really interesting. The A plot of because it's almost like the Incredible Hulk, right? It's just like Sam fucking wanders into town as he wanders across America, and he just tries to help out, and then some weird shit happens, and he just trying to help. Whatever, it's like that town of the week thing, and then at the end of every episode he's out there hitchhiking and you hear the sad music and it's like we're on the trail of the Hulk, or just take all the scripts from the Incredible Hulk TV show, replace Bill Bixby with Norman Reedus, and give him an exoskeleton or whatever. And
Okay.
And a
So,
baby.
second question: what show do you think Kojima had seen that really drove him to like, I want to do this?
Twin Peaks.
You just
That's
saw that
all
recently.
of Japan.
yeah.
All of Japan are huge into Twin Peaks.
Are they?
Yeah, Twin Peaks is big in Japan.
Twin Peaks
There's coffee
did
commercials.
well over there for sure. Yeah.
Kyle
There's
McLaughlin
coffee
can't walk anywhere.
commercials. It
That's
was
right.
cool.
Yeah.
How many like Japanese games have some sort of Twin Peaks nod to
Oh
it?
yeah, you're right.
Like,
Yeah, of course.
At
they
least
Deadly
loved it.
Premonition and
Deadly Premonition is all Twin Peaks. Silent
Of
Hill
course,
has Twin Peaks stuff in
Swery
it.
obviously I think is the most like known proponent of the let's make a Twin Peaks game.
Yeah.
And we love him for it, for sure.
The weirdo.
Warner Brothers, you heard of these guys?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
What are they doing?
I like it when industry publications talk about them as the Warners. Over at
like
Warner's,
their actual
like,
brothers.
one of those, like when someone set out a shingle, it's like when you're reading like did Buku box office, like all the dumb fucking showbiz lingo that Variety
I
or
feel
whatever
like
gets into.
I feel like
Hollywood
if you
Reporter.
say the Warners, you're talking about the cartoon dog people from Animaniacs.
No, well, yeah, no one.
Oh.
Yes, sure.
Yeah,
but
if you say the Warners, you're talking about the Animaniacs. Warner Brothers is the studio.
they don't, but they don't
Separate.
want to write it all out because they want to have as much lingo as they possibly can. Anyway, Multiversus is real.
Hell
the
yeah,
platform
baby.
fighter.
Which,
It's happening.
where are the
big
Animaniacs
Doubtverse.
in this? Is my question.
Well, they are looking to, like, of course, anyone making one of these games wants to have the life cycle of a Smash Brothers where you've got people endlessly speculating about which character will be next. So we can add the Animaniacs to that list, and you can be very angry for the next year and a half when they don't add them in. This is primarily a 2v2 game. They are making it free to play. So presumably, I don't know. I would assume they'd sell characters, but maybe it's purely cosmetics. I don't actually know that they got too much into the model. And they're focusing on 2v2 because like characters will have abilities that other players can use, you know, like Bugs Bunny digging a tunnel, and then the other character can take the tunnel as well.
Wonder Woman's
it will have
lasso
solo mode for people who need that. Yeah, the lasso, that sort of stuff. Crossplay. Here's a list of characters. No Animaniacs, but let's see who we do have and what else is missing here. We've got Batman.
Okay.
Voiced by Kevin Conroy. So yeah, they made a big deal in their trailer about like, hey, we went and got a bunch of voice work and all this other stuff. The game has a very stylized look to where the characters at least look like they are coming from similar places. Like it's not just like ripped out of their game and dropped or their universe and dropped in with that design. They've kind of made new designs here.
It's
Batman.
not Mugen.
It's not Mugen. That'd be better. Superman.
Okay.
Wonder Woman.
Okay.
Harley Quinn.
Oh.
That's the full list of DC characters at this time. Shaggy from Scooby-Doo.
Not Shaggy.
Voiced by Matthew Lillard, which rules.
That is actually really cool. Someone's gonna have to explain all these costumes they got here for Shaggy. I don't like a Sherlock Holmes outfit.
Yeah, I don't mean, well, they solve mysteries, right? I mean, they got the mystery machine, like, you know.
Is he?
But also like this. Yeah, he's a part of a detective.
But he's like the stoner idiot that they just have to like fill a quota with or something.
No, it wasn't me. They were trying to figure out who it
He
was.
didn't do shit. Does he? Am I misremembering
Shaggy
Scooby-Doo?
said he's got bugs on his nugs, and then he poured
Got you
Faygo all over the stage.
fries.
Zoinks.
Shaggy sucks.
I think the
I like
whole
Matt
like
Lillard,
Ultra
but Shaggy
Instinct
sucks.
Shaggy thing was dumb, and to me that like, was that the genesis of this game? Did they see that meme and go like, we should do that? Because this is just, I don't know, whatever. Moving on. Bugs Bunny.
He's a narc.
I like how you said that like it was the next news topic. Moving on. Bugs Bunny.
Bugs Bunny.
Yeah.
That fucking
Found dead
guy.
in Miami.
Yeah. Arya Stark from Game of Thrones.
Wow, everyone's favorite cartoon character.
She should just
Yeah, everyone's favorite Warner brother.
I cannot wait to see Arya Stark stabbing Bugs Bunny.
Yeah, with that little knife. And
yeah.
sword.
How much blood is in this game?
Yeah, probably not enough. Tom and Jerry would seem like they will be one character
It's gross.
in an Ice Climbers like way. Because we have Jake the dog and Finn the human from
Fuck
Adventure
yeah.
Time as separate characters.
Hell yeah, baby.
That's cool. That's cool.
Steven
John
Universe
DiMaggio.
from Steven Universe. Garnet from Steven Universe.
No, I thought that's a Garrett.
Garrett. That looks like an N. Yeah, Garrett from Thieves in here somehow. And Rain Dog, an original character.
Dog.
What a Rain Dog? Rain Dog? Rain Dog? I don't.
From Fallout New Vegas.
Right. Yeah.
Fallout 3? Fallout 3.
That's the list of characters so far. The trailer for this, it looks like it is one of those games.
Yeah. The 2v2 thing could be interesting.
Right.
I don't know
They
how.
were also very quick to even like they in the trailer or in the video they put out. It's like a guy's giving you the breakdown and be like, we really designed it for 2v2 and all this other stuff. And they're like, well, you can play it solo if you want.
Yeah.
Immediate backpedal. Like, we understand that people won't want to do that. So we're not going to make you.
God, I just realized that this is a different game than the other game that has Invader Zim as a character in it.
Yeah, that's the Nickelodeon game, right?
Whoa,
That's,
I did not realize that these were coming out and they were separate and they happened at like almost exactly the same time with very similar IPs.
I fired Nickelodeon All Stars back up just for poops and giggles, and then it's just really sad how there's no voice acting at all. So
Especially
yes,
for
they're
Zim.
Yeah, they're the Multiversus crew. They're really touting like, oh, we got all the voice actors you wanted. And I gotta tell you, it's got kind of made me excited to at least check it out, just to hear John DiMaggio calling out like fighting moves.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, if you do right by the characters, like that definitely goes a long way. Like you want those characters to be represented the way that you remember them or think of them, right? Like you want that, right? And so at least it seems like they're taking this seriously and really trying to make a go for it, which, I mean, it makes sense, right? I mean, if Smash Brothers is done with new reveals and all this other stuff, like there's room. I feel like all the games that have tried to chase Smash Brothers have felt like they were desperately chasing Smash Brothers in a way that just kind of all had this weird little stink on them.
There's some sort of like dollar store knockoff feel to anything that is trying to be Smash Brothers.
Yeah.
I think it's because they're chasing the same formula of a platform fighter rather than maybe like a different type of game, and that's why it feels more gives off that dollar discount vibe.
Yeah, I mean that was the thing with that PlayStation All Stars game, where they were like, "What if we made a Smash Brothers?" And you're like, "Well, you guys don't really have the catalog to pull this off quite as well." As much as I have respect for the legacy of the PlayStation.
What other like genres of IPs do you think are going to try to cash in on the lack of Smash?
I'm trying to what else, outside of this Warner thing? I was looking at other Warner things and thinking
other Warner thing. Yeah, let's do that first, and then we'll think.
Apparently they own Mike Tyson Mysteries, so maybe you get Mike Tyson in there. He's a classic video game character. Everybody loves that guy.
Hey, that's
He's got a pigeon attack or something.
We're making a wish list down below, to which Jen added LeBron James, which I agree.
He's canon.
Yeah, he's
canon.
He's sure got mean elbows too.
He loves moving around the court.
Put Neo in it. Put Trinity in it.
Now put like the Merovingian in it, or like
okay, all right.
Let's get some weird
Now
like the
you're talking.
twins. The twins.
I think realistically,
Morpheus is alive, but only in Multiverses.
And it's canon.
I think realistically, Animaniacs could happen. I think Joker's going to happen because we got all these other DC people. Freakazoid
Blade.
would be a good choice.
No one knows who
Blade would be
Freakazoid is
cool.
except 5 people, and
I know
2
who
of them are
everyone
human
knows
beings.
who Freakazoid
3
is.
here.
Yeah.
No, people know who Candlejack is. Candlejack, put him in there. And Static Shock, put Static Shock in here.
Put Meatwad in it.
Oh,
and have him like shapeshift. Have Meatwad be the Kirby of the game, where he can like suck any other character in and then form into that shape for
actually
some length
a
of
good
time.
idea.
I honestly think
What'd be
you've
great
got,
is if
like-
he was 2-dimensional and everybody else is 3-dimensional too. I would love
That'd be
that.
good,
It was
yeah.
like cheap, like
See,
Adult Swim animation.
We definitely teased this a while ago, but we were like, there's just be kind of like an Adult Swim one of these. And then you get your Harvey Birdmans in there, which has like 400 characters that you can use, all of which are good.
Right.
And you're
Venture
set.
Brothers.
Get Brack.
Austin Powers can go in the Warner one.
Okay. Yeah. Why not? I mean, that's.
Oh, behave.
I'm just looking at I'm trying to find. There's like 9,000 different wiki pages that are just like, here's what the fuck Warner owns: Castle Rock Entertainment. So okay. So
that
When Harry Met
Seinfeld?
Sally, City Slickers. So you could get Billy
shit.
Crystal in this.
Billy
fucking
Crystal.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Finally.
Oh,
not?
dude, they own The
Time.
Bachelor. Let's get Chris Harrison in there.
okay.
Okay. Yeah.
And Friends. They have Friends.
Oh, Ross is my main.
Yeah, let's get Janet in there.
Could you throw Mortal Kombat into this?
Oh my god.
Like a Sub-Zero
You
or a
could.
Scorpion? Yeah, right?
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, yes. That's all owned. That's all still Warner. But like,
Fresh
yeah,
Prince of
and
Bel-Air.
that's kind of like that. That was, I think that would be a fun, weird addition. And like Scorpion using his spear to catch the ledge and save himself. Like that'd be.
Oh, yeah.
I bet that's probably what the lasso is used for by Wonder Woman. It's probably pretty similar. Anyway, that's coming out next year. I think it'll be interesting to see like how this does, because this. I feel like there's been some like well-respected indie platform fighters,
Yeah.
but like all the bigger attempts to try to do something like this have always felt like they were riding Nintendo's coattails. And this being free to play, like potentially maybe that gives it a shot where more people just try it out and more people get into it as a result of that. But Warner through NetherRealm, but Warner does have some knowledge about how to work in the fighting game scene and promote tournaments and pot bonuses and all of other stuff. So there's potential there where maybe they do try to get behind it. We'll see. Moving on. Epic. Everyone's favorite Faith No More song. They have purchased Harmonix.
Oh my God! Will they stop buying stuff?
No.
The metaverse. Oh my God. Okay.
This is so. Harmonix last shipped Fuser, which was an NCSoft published game, and I feel like Harmonix has just been in a weird. Harmonix is weird. I was gonna say in a weird zone lately, but like actually, just Harmonix has always just been a very weird company. They've gotten very scrappy and they've managed to stick together and stay together and be a company through thick and thin. They were part of Viacom and sold by Viacom, and they've been through the ringer multiple fucking times, and somehow made it out the other side to where now they will quote. Work with Epic to create musical journeys and gameplay for Fortnite. While we're not ready to share any specifics, the whole team is incredibly excited to get started. Stay tuned.
Did they say how much Harmonix was bought for?
I don't think the number is out there. I haven't seen it. But
that's wild. I mean, if there was a video game that had some sort of ties to music, it's kind of Fortnite. Like, I can see that at least. You know, they've put gigs on and...
Yeah,
exactly. You think about not necessarily the rhythm game end of Harmonix, not necessarily the rock band end of Harmonix, but also, I mean, well, some of it. But like, think about the Fantasia part of Harmonix, and think about the VR stuff that they did. I forget what that thing was even called. But some of the stuff where they and even like Beatles Rock Band, where they were just like devoted to making freaky looking shit around music. And cool visualizers and like interesting little things in and around music. I think that's where this probably makes a ton of sense. Right. Obviously, Fortnite is expanding into all kinds of weird shit, and they have done concerts and all this other stuff. So like I look at that and I go like, I see where this fits together. I just don't necessarily love that.
If nothing, yeah, it doesn't feel like the cool thing about Harmonix was that they. I mean, like they have been owned by large corporations, obviously, in the past as well. But like they always had such a like drop mix, right? Like that was even a huge thing for them, and that was not that long ago, like 5 years ago or whatever. Like they've always been nimble and indie feeling, even when they sort of weren't. But also like they're about like one of the most malleable creative forces in games, full stop. Because just like even
remember
like a
they were
handful
making
of
a rhythm focused first person shooter.
No, I don't remember that.
No,
actually.
what? That's cool.
That was what was that even called? I can't even remember what it was called. But there's another game that came out that was called the same thing. Not that like they killed it. Turtle Rock was working on it with them. Now I have to look that up. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but yeah,
it
just all the stuff.
Called. Oh man, come on now.
BPM?
No, that came out. That's a really good first-person shooter. It came out last year or this year, I forget. Last year, I think.
Okay, Harmonix first-person
Chroma
shooter,
perhaps.
Chroma, yes, Chroma. That is what it's called. Yeah, Harmonix is like in the era where they were like, oh, like Rock Band instruments are really hard to sell put on shelves and do stuff with, and we have to figure out what's next. Like they tried a billion different projects. Chroma is not the only canceled Harmonix thing that I have played over the years, and they tried to do all kinds of different stuff. So they were always trying to find ways to kind of stay afloat, honestly, but also like, you know, a lot of that stuff had music at the center of it or as part of the experience. So like there was some DNA to that studio that was like always like interesting, if nothing else. And
I always got the feeling that they probably did a lot of contract stuff, like here and there as well, because a lot of their games, they seem to work on a lot of small, like stuff like A City Sleeps, and they were always doing bits and bobs here and there. And I don't know how many people are employed there anymore, but also they were one of the bigger Boston studios during that era. So, if nothing else, maybe it's cool they'll have some stability and be part of the conversation again, at least in this world. But it seemed like Dropmix did really well anyway, so I don't know. Maybe
it's like Dropmix did well in that it sold out and it was hard to find. Like, how much money did that translate for them when they couldn't keep enough cards on shelves? I don't actually know, but like Dropmix, and then Dropmix, I think a lot of those concepts got repurposed for Fuser, which Fuser's really cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Like this, I feel like this makes sense. And if you're Epic and you're like, hey, we need more attention put on this kind of like music, and like there's more to do in that end of Fortnite. We know we're kind of like leaving money on the table or whatever. If we expand in this direction, like what do we do? I feel like, assuming that there's still enough of like a brain trust in place at Harmonix, like I think that's a really good crew, or like conceptually at least, again, assuming the right people are still there, to like come in and figure out like what's some really awesome music shit we can do inside of one of the world's biggest video games. So I think that's really cool in a way, and I think it makes a ton of sense. But as someone who is just like, oh, I really liked Rock Band, and I think Fuser's really neat, like that, and I don't play a lot of Fortnite and don't necessarily care about their metaverse, whatever you want to call it. Like I sure, they should do that. I don't know.
I miss Rock Band. Like everyone moved on without me, and I was still like, hey guys, let's play Rock Band. I got all the fucking plastic instruments. Everybody's like, nah.
Everyone said they missed Rock Band, and then they put Rock Band 4 out, and turned out not enough people missed Rock Band.
It's just me that misses Rock Band. This year, I finally let my parents throw away the plastic guitars and shit.
Oh, wow.
eBay, that's
never been worth more money.
Fortune. Yeah.
They threw it out?
Cost me so much to get a new set over here.
Holy moly.
I looked it up at like last year, and it was like everything was like $20. I was like, ugh.
$20, dog.
$20.
I think I spent
like the
$400
PlayStation 2
on a Rock Band.
Oh yeah, stuff that old dick. Yeah, that's maybe a little.
It wasn't like the good ones. It was like the 360 and the PlayStation 2. So
the 360 stuff carries forward in a way that might,
DJ Hero turntables going for 20.
Oh my gosh, they're so good.
Okay.
Oh really?
Right.
Wow.
Yeah.
That game is so good. That wasn't made by them though. That was made in. Well, obviously it was Guitar Hero, not Rock Band. So
I remember being.
Oh no, they did the originals. Didn't
When
they?
will Rock Band Japan come out now? I'm still waiting.
I remember being at an event with DJ Hero, and there was like a lot of pass around food, and there was a lot of DJ Hero turntable sort of spread around the club that we were in. And I just remember going up to one and just seeing just like the greasiest shit all over this turntable. I just have never gotten that image out of my head. And now, having the 2 years gone by, it'll just never be a thing ever again. That was it. Savor the flavor. We're done.
One other little thing on this, I was checking just the list of studios that they do have around. They actually don't have any other ones seemingly on the east coast of the States. So this strategically for them as well is a good way to perhaps have a base in what is historically a pretty good development hub. So, they have stuff on the west coast and Seattle and all over Europe and Asia, but maybe that's also part of it is now they have a footprint up in the northeast.
I wonder. I feel like Boston ain't what it used to be for game dev.
Yeah,
But yeah.
MIT's still there though, so it's still pumping out.
That's
smart
true.
people.
Yeah, that's actually that's a good point. All right, Activision. This.
Oh yeah, God, I forgot about this.
So last week, I think I said this will maybe be the thing that gets Bobby Kotick once and for all. I'm feeling pretty good about that.
Actually,
this is eventually going to get him. This Wall Street Journal report that hit last week talking a lot about things that Bobby Kotick was aware of in terms of sexual harassment and assault and a lot of other stuff, including him threatening to kill his assistant, which that's...
Who amongst
what a guy.
us?
Ooh, yes, who amongst us is not said, I'm going to kill you if you don't get this job done. Write the review, damn it.
It's not what you're killing it means.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Anyway, a lot of shit that Bobby Kotick potentially tried to say, like, I was unaware of all this stuff, that now this report has very much said, like, no, you're very much linked to a lot of stuff that is actually way worse than this stuff. Previously, he had announced a zero tolerance policy for these types of violations. And so notably, a lot of the employees kind of said, like, well, that means you, right? You're gone, right? And the company response was to say, like, well, we don't have any evidence. So,
One tolerance
there's no evidence.
policy.
Yeah.
For him.
One tolerance.
Yeah, a lot of employees have signed, I believe over 1,300 was the last count I think I saw, probably higher than that by now, had signed a petition basically saying, like, that he's got to go. And now the platform heads, hardware manufacturers, are getting in on the act to a certain extent. I believe PlayStation was first out of the gate, according to Bloomberg via gamesindustry.biz. These are all internal emails sent out by, in this case, Jim Ryan, saying, the quote here is that Activision has not done enough to address a deep-seated culture of discrimination and harassment, and that PlayStation has reached out to the company to see what it was planning to do in response to the incidents detailed in the article, and saying, we do not believe their statements of response properly address the situation. You know, part of this was like, there was the ill-worded message that came out when all this stuff first broke from Fran, I do not remember her name. Then the revelation out of that was that Bobby Kotick apparently penned that message and sent it from her account.
Crazy.
What
a psychopath.
Of him. Yeah, the board came out in support of him. The board of Activision said, like, oh, we back Bobby.
Did they, or did he get into their accounts too?
Yeah, we'll never know, right?
Yeah.
Well, maybe we will. Shit. So let's see. What else has happened from this? We touched on this last week, but I think I didn't realize quite the context of it. That Dan Bunting, who was one of the heads at Treyarch, the studio behind the Black Ops arm of Call of Duty, left the studio as a part of this Wall Street Journal investigation. These were sexual harassment claims filed against him from 2017. And then when this stuff came back up as the Journal was investigating it, he split. That's just one more facet of this fucking thing. Let's see. So
At
Phil
least he has the
Spencer
sense
also...
to fuck off, unlike Bobby.
Yeah, I
Kotick.
guess so, right? And that guy
Bobby's
was one
like,
of the face...
I'm gonna see if I can fix this. We're all looking for the guy who's responsible.
So that,
here.
you know, so Phil Spencer issued a similar statement internally, and then yesterday, Fanbyte got a hold of Nintendo's internal response. The differences there, kind of like I think the Xbox message was a little more like, hey, we're reevaluating our partnership with Activision at every level. And on the Nintendo side, they said, we've taken some action, and also we're looking to pressure, I'm paraphrasing here, that they are working with the ESA to try to make sure that the member companies are held to a higher standard when it comes to this stuff, to try to prevent this sort of stuff from happening in the future. Girls Who Code, a nonprofit organization, has cut ties with Activision Blizzard in the wake of all this, which of course, and Kotick, for his part, has said, this is a gamesindustry.biz story here, said it's a possibility that he would step down if the company's issues with abuse and misconduct were not fixed with speed. And
what a
now we're talking about drugs too. Jesus,
Right?
I know, right?
So
How
much
deep does this
seedy
go?
shit happening.
There are a lot of calls for him to resign, both around the press and from, of course, the a better ABK, which is the employee organization that has kind of risen up around this sort of stuff. I don't know the ESA to be an organization that is necessarily like known for getting the job done on much. So that's the sort of thing that I look at and go like, yeah, you probably should do this, but like this doesn't this seems like it maybe needs to be a bit more than that. And so, yeah, you're starting to see, obviously, like, their external partners coming out and saying, like, hey, this seems fucking bad. You have a lot of people internally. You have the story of Jen O'Neill, who departed Blizzard, and kind of the email that came out around that, and also her saying, like, that she wasn't even offered equal pay with her co-studio head until she had resigned. That they both the studio heads were trying to get her kind of bumped up to the right level, and couldn't get it, and she
Why am I not
walked.
surprised?
Yeah, yeah. Okay, well, hey, don't worry. In the dead of the night last night, Activision made an announcement, which is always how you announce news that you want people to see, establishing a workplace responsibility committee, which is being led by 2 current members of the board, according to Kotaku, who parsed the press release.
A committee. Awesome.
Yeah, they formed a committee, and the committee will soon be adding a new diverse director to the board to join them. And this is the same board that came out in support of Bobby Kotick in the middle of all this. So it's like, what are you doing here?
And the board
I
is
think
like
it's obvious what they're doing here.
There was a bunch of really good reporting. I can't remember whoever did the write up of who was actually on the board. Was it Fanbyte or Polygon or somebody? Or I forget who it did. Apologies.
I think Polygon did it. There were a few. I saw one on Twitter, and there's a few. Yeah.
Yeah, and much like any, he's a smart motherfucker, and the board is packed full of people who have got his back. They're packed full of people who he has been in business with, doing various dubious business for a large period of time.
And
surprised to
and
know
him big time constantly.
Yeah, I mean, them getting control over all this stuff, the Vivendi split, like all the things that happened in Activision's past, it's a lot of people that were involved in that sort of stuff that have probably made a whole lot of money under the rise of Call of Duty and all this other stuff. And so you've got a lot of this stuff kind of coming apart at the seams in a variety of ways. And then on top of that, the game ain't selling like it used to. So, you've got all this afoot, plus you've got Call of Duty not hitting
too.
Yeah, and so the stock has taken a hit. You've seen like analysts out there downgrading the stock based on like, hey, there's just a lot of uncertainty over there right now with all the shit that they are not doing to address this sort of stuff. And so that's I think this gets him because at some point it has just done too much to the business end of things, because at the end of the day, money is what fucking moves these needles. Like that's the disgusting
guarantee
part
that
of it.
Guarantee that in like 2 to 5 years he'll just be CEO of some other fucking adjacent company, though.
Yeah, or I mean, whatever. He's made a pile of money off this thing. He could go sit in a house somewhere and.
They never do though, do they? They never go sit in a house and leave us all alone.
They
gotta
want
make
some
a
shadow power
more
somewhere.
money.
Yeah, they wanna do something to someone somewhere.
They can't just fuck off to a mansion.
Yeah.
And stop influencing our lives.
Yeah. Moneyball. Call of Duty Vanguard's Warzone map has been delayed, as if the problems weren't bad enough. They have delayed it a week. This also delays the start of Season 1 for Call of Duty Vanguard. Yeah, that's kind of all there is there. That's the day Halo is out, which seems like a weird time to launch your thing. But Call of Duty's been very popular, so maybe they're just not really that worried about the release of the Halo campaign. I mean, obviously the multiplayer has already been out for a while, so it's not like that's a one-to-one sort of thing.
Yeah, people are sitting in front of their televisions. Sometimes it's helpful.
Right. Rockstar has apologized.
To you?
No,
Personally?
to everyone.
Damn.
For the release of Grand Theft Auto, the trilogy, the definitive edition. We talked about this last week. This thing's a shame. It's a crying shame that such important games have been rendered in such a shitty fashion. And so they put out a statement saying like, hey, this is not what we wanted to put out. And yet they did. It's weird how that works.
Our bad, y'all. Sorry.
Our bad. We did the thing we did.
Yeah. Firstly, we wanted to sincerely apologize to everyone who has encountered issues playing these games. The Grand Theft Auto series and the games that make up this iconic trilogy are as special to us as we know they are to fans around the world. The updated versions of these classic games did not launch in a state that meets our own standards of quality or the standards our fans have come to expect. We have ongoing plans to address the technical issues and to improve each game going forward. With each planned update, the games will reach the level of quality that they deserve to be. I fucking doubt it.
Good luck.
When we talk about deserve to be, and again, like, not to just like fucking walk down memory lane for a long time, but like what those 3 Grand Theft Auto games deserve is nothing short of like a full-on fucking like Demon Souls PlayStation 5 level of attention.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
With how important those things were.
It's so much harder to do that stuff at that scale, though. Like,
of course. I'm not saying it's easy, but like, it'd never happen. And I don't think it will. But they're the ones using the words deserve to be.
Yeah.
And I think when I think about those games and their place in video game history.
Yeah, you said it, definitive edition, right?
Definitive, yeah. Definitive, except for the songs we couldn't license, and except for
exactly.
like, it's already down a notch just as a result of that sort of stuff, and that's minor shit, right? They did put out a patch. They have corrected some stuff, notably the awful rain effect that modders had to go try to fix.
That was not great.
They've fixed that sort of stuff. They are also going to put the classic PC versions of these 3 games up on the Rockstar store as a bundle. And they're saying that anyone who has purchased the definitive edition on the Rockstar store through June 30th, 2022 will get those classic versions at no additional cost. I wonder if those are the classic versions with the music intact, or if they are because they did do an incremental. They have done other re-releases of these games in the past, so I don't know what they're actually selling there.
And in many ways, like this one, I feel like if they had marketed it as, because this was, Grove Street were doing this, right? Which is one of their studios that sort of works on a bunch of mobile stuff predominantly.
Yeah, they did. The mobile version of Bully, I think, was one of the other Rockstar things they worked on. So it felt like, and I think the baseline for this as well was the mobile versions that they had used already, because they'd already released all of these on mobile. As well, and then they got ported back to was it like Xbox 360 that those mobile versions already have come out on once?
Oh, I think you're right. I can't remember which one it was, but it felt like this is the problem with trying to remaster games at this scale, and then 3 of them. It's like you can't have that type of level of detail. You have to use, especially if you're not spending that much money on it, maybe. But so it's kind of like the whole thing is a real cautionary tale, I think, for other people who are going to try and bring back games that are old but still require like the fidelity required to remake. Like San Andreas, that map is super big. Like
it's insane.
Like, how could it's insane? You can't. We don't have them. Like modern GTA's take like 10 years, right? And that's with farming this stuff out to 3D artists in Indonesia that can go through every single table. You know what I mean? Like it's not the same thing. So it's
if anything, they should have just like released them as is, upscaled. Like get them running. Don't do a lot to them, redo some of the control stuff. Like, if you could put GTA 5 controls into those 3 games, I think that would be a good modern improvement. But it just feels like they just it seems like they took those mobile ports, got them running on Unreal, if they weren't already, and shipped them. And they look like shit.
And this is a cautionary tale that was already told, like I said last week, back in 2012 with Konami's HD collection for Silent Hill 2 and 3. And it's like, nobody paid attention to that. We're going to do it again with this Rockstar
No one saw the signs.
Open world games? Are they?
No one
let's
saw
do that,
the
but
signs.
harder and make it even worse. Like, ugh.
It's a massive.
So, I wonder where they will get to with these in the end when they do call it done, because they talk about it. They talk about it the way that CD Projekt Red talked about Cyberpunk, when they were just like, we're working on multiple patches. We've got multiple updates to do, and we'll keep working. Like it has that sound to it for sure. But they're not gonna get it to. I don't know. We'll see where they get it to. I'm sure it'll end up being like fine, right? Where you're like, oh, okay, yeah, you guess you did the thing, but when you think about definitive and you think about those games, like it's not gonna be some big deal.
I've been bouncing my way through them and enjoying them just fine, but I think a lot of this also would have hit the ear slightly better is there not this just like sort of issue with when it comes to litigation and whatnot in the modding community over the GTA games over the years, and then pulling those classic versions off of Steam. Like it just, I think a lot of people were sort of primed to like be pissed at this as well, and rightly so, because of like
they set the table by going like, hey, we know like people have done years of work to try to do cool shit to these games, and then they're like, I don't know, we're gonna put out these mobile ports and try to take everything else off sale. Great, thanks. It sucks. Xbox Cloud Gaming, the xCloud service, if you will, is now available on consoles. Previously, it had been like, hey, play it in a browser or play it on your phone. They have now added that to the Xbox itself, which I feel like was, obviously this was one of the things they were going to get to sooner or later, and they've gotten there in 25 regions. And it's kind of a cool, I don't know, like I think about it in terms of like when that thing gets on console and all that other stuff, or you get to this situation where you could start making demos for games and have them just live in the cloud, like download free demos that are just like very controlled sections of the game, or like, hey, this cloud instance turns off after 20 minutes, so that's how we prevent you from accidentally playing the full game, or whatever. Or, hey, you just bought this game and you don't want to wait for it to download. Just start playing it. Just hit go. Just hit go and it'll go. It also has this interesting effect of like, now if you only own an Xbox One, you can play like the Rift Breaker or Recompile or the Medium. Maybe not the most exciting Series X games in the world, but it is still that way of like, oh, there's a way for you to kind of experience some of the new hardware, some of the games exclusive to the new hardware on your old hardware, which is kind of a cool concept.
What's the reason why they couldn't do other stuff? I'm just trying to think. I guess the console might not output 4K.
Oh, you mean other
Xbox
Series
One?
X games, or
Yeah, like why couldn't they hypothetically get Halo Infinite running on Xbox One?
I
presumably?
bet it's a case of you mean in the cloud specifically.
Yeah. Is it
I bet
business?
it's a case of like there are only so many instances available in their cloud computing centers that are available to run on the upgraded hardware, as opposed to the Xbox One level hardware that they had been using for a lot of stuff. And it's probably just one of those things where it's like, this is still, I feel like every step of this process has been a weird slow rollout as they kind of expanded a little bit. And then you're like, okay, now we're kind of on iPhone. Okay, expand it a little bit more. We're adding a bunch of touchscreen support to games. Okay, cool. Roll it out a little bit more. So presumably they get there, but it just feels like they're really taking their time when it comes to that stuff. Because probably, I mean, if you put out a free-to-play Halo Infinite onto xCloud and then let anyone with an Xbox One play, because you can just download the Xbox One version of the game and let anyone play the Series X version, you probably end up running out of instances a lot faster that way, right? Whereas like the Rift Breaker, you could probably handle that.
And I bet the first time anyone uses xCloud and it comes up saying all the servers are full, please wait 20 minutes, is the last time they use it as well.
Yes.
So maybe that's the thing they're trying to avoid. Wait, is Halo Infinite on Xbox One then? Or is it only...
It is, yes.
It is as well.
I believe it is available there. Yeah, I saw a message from someone saying that it ran like garbage, and I was like, yeah, I bet
fun.
it does. Like, unsurprising. On a base Xbox One specifically, yeah. So,
I wonder if the medium's not gonna chug on this, but don't play the medium. It's not very good.
Yeah, it's not. The Rift Breaker has some neat ideas, but I don't know that I would go out of my way to pick up a copy to then try to play it through a cloud instance. But it's probably on Game Pass, right? Anyway, Delay Watch. Let's get into it. Some games got delayed. We don't have any Delay Watch music, but we probably should.
Ooh, we should.
Pragmata, Capcom's Moon game.
Little girl.
Yeah, that's been delayed to 2023.
Is that short for Pragmatic Stigmata? What is the name?
When is Stigmata truly pragmatic? I suppose if you are actually going to be crucified, maybe just get it going.
Yeah, they put out a tweet saying our team is hard at work on the project, but to ensure that this will be an unforgettable adventure, we've decided to shift the release window to 2023. In the meantime, we have a brand new artwork to share with you. Thank you for your patience. So it's like, it's a picture of a girl. Cool. This is a weird delay to me because I'm just like, they announced Pragmata, but it's not like they had shown a ton of it, or it was like, it's in the pipeline for this and this. And you're like, okay, well, it's like they delayed it. You're like, okay, yeah, sure. 2023, that's a real time.
Yeah, how do you feel about that? How do you feel about 2023? That's not.
I don't.
That's not a
Who
real
has
year.
feelings about that year already?
Makes me sick.
Yeah. I'm barely allowing myself to have feelings for 2022, to be honest.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That year. That's not real either.
Yeah.
Yeah, that year just seems like sci-fi. Come on.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
Saints Row has been delayed until August, from February.
Next August. Okay.
Yes, no, 2022 August.
Yeah.
So
I forgot this game exists.
yeah,
They're not marketing it great.
It's reboot.
Yeah, well, if it's
full
not until August, they don't need to
disclosure.
be. So
Yeah, that's
Full
true.
disclosure, I'm biased. My partner is the video producer at Volition.
Oh,
So I have a lot
nice.
of inside knowledge that I can't fucking say.
You can
Except
just-
that I
you
think the
can
game
just
looks
tell us.
fucking cool. I think it looks
behind
fucking
that
cool.
curtain?
I thought the
already.
trailer they put out looked awesome as well, and I'm interested in
Yeah.
playing it. So I'm
It looks-
disappointed, but
It looks
hey.
cool. You should still be excited. It's only going to be like even more tight and even more better, honestly. Like, so I'm glad about this. So whatever.
I love it when the games
They
are
don't-
better.
Yeah. Games
Yeah,
be
they should
good.
they should do that. They should.
They should
Yeah,
make it good.
they should
instead
make
of
it
not.
more
Make it.
better.
Yeah, they should make it good.
You know.
Yeah.
They don't.
They
You
should
know,
feel
and
like
it's like
good, right?
I
if
don't
they
know.
made
Like
it
I don't
good?
know. I don't know like the
What if you
internal
could do, like,
mechanisms or anything.
What if?
Video games, you could do anything.
Yeah, what if you just made a game that was just life?
Whoa!
I can't handle that. I
Yeah.
can barely handle mine.
Yeah, I don't know
Isn't that
anything
what,
about like the internal decision process, but I'm
Yeah.
sure that
Oh, no?
seeing Cyberpunk fuck up in the huge way it did was probably like a factor in just like what if we just had even more time to make it even more nicer? What if that?
I think, a lot of studios, I think, probably looked at that and went like, let's not fuck this up. Also, I mean, look at Halo. They just delayed it a fucking full year, and it's like, no one can stop talking about Halo. It's
Yeah.
like, it's kind of awesome.
Yeah. And also, like their previous game, Agents of Mayhem, like that did not do so good. So they also, on the heels of Cyberpunk and that, it's like,
Sure, yeah.
that only
If
makes
I-
sense to do, right? And this is not even like insider information or anything like that. It's just like this is dead obvious that they.
No,
want
I don't
to
think you need to be an insider
delay
to know that
something.
Agents of Mayhem was a bad game.
Yeah. Whoop.
So,
You can tell that from space. You wouldn't
yeah,
matter,
it's
you knew.
pretty apparent out of the gate that, like, wow, someone had some fucking. Maybe there was another idea here that didn't happen, but Jesus
a
Christ.
couple.
Now that's insider. That's it for
insider
news.
information. Yeah, no.
We're gonna come back with some emails. How do you feel about that?
I feel great.
Great. I
Feel
love
great.
it. Let's do it. All right, we're back. Let's look at a couple of emails. How about it?
I'd love
Do
to.
it.
Great.
Do it.
Bombcast at giantbomb.com is the email address for you to send in your emails, and then we will read them, and then I will pick out 2 or 3 of them, as I have done. Zach in New Lexington, Ohio says, I was wondering, when you're on your way to a concert, do you listen to the music you're about to see live to get hyped up about it, or do you avoid hearing anything by the band so you don't get burnt out on the songs before the show?
Ooh,
You're
this
overthinking it, Zach.
This
Let me
actually
just tell
happened
you.
to me last week because I went and saw Lupe Fiasco, and the last time I'd seen Lupe, he was really bad. He was like calling out the crowd. He was
Weird.
Too,
Who could have predicted that Lupe Fiasco would be bad?
it was a fiasco. He was 2 hours late as well, and then he was just really just angry and just really upset. And then a friend had spare tickets, so me and my partner hopped and went. And then we're like, oh, do we want to go? Should we listen? Because it's the 15th anniversary of Food and Liquor. So we kind of refamiliarized ourselves with the album. And we're like, this is really good, but I don't know if he's going to be good. And then we saw him. One of the best shows I've seen. One of the best shows I've seen. Yeah.
Do you
This
think
dude-
listening to it ahead of time kind of amplified the appreciation?
No,
Or was it
but
seeing
like,
him being bad that amplified
I think
that,
he
obviously?
was so good this time around that was like he completely erased how bad he was. He was super dope. He shouted out Jack Kerouac, beat poet of SF. He shouted out Keith Huff, of SF skating fame. And then he was
Okay.
like,
San Francisco before he did the show.
Yeah, it
he
sounds
was
Robert
walking
People
around
or some shit.
He
Yeah.
was walking around SF Chinatown, and then I went onto his Instagram, and I realized Lupe Fiasco just posts nothing but karate videos. Not other people, but of himself doing karate. And
Oh, shit.
maybe he's found his peace, and that's why he's better now.
Yeah,
That's cool.
maybe.
Peace through karate.
Like martial arts and skateboarding, there's similarities there.
Yeah, there's some zen going on.
Exactly.
Okay. I don't think you can like you're not gonna burn yourself out on the band on the way to the show. What the hell are you talking about? Who could do that?
How
Who could
long is the drive?
Who could in that moment be like, oh, we gotta turn the fuck around? I'm sick of these guys. No. What?
It's
Doesn't
an
make any
8-hour
sense.
drive. Let's listen to this album
Doesn't make
on
any
loop
sense.
the entire 8 hours.
Oh my god.
What I've done, look, if you want to do a little bit of research, maybe this is a band that you only like their new record, and that's maybe you're going because they're supporting that new record, and you listen to their back catalog because you know they're going to probably play some of those to make the legacy fans happy. Sure, but if they're touring on a new record, they're going to play a lot of those new songs. That's how it works.
I do a lot of
Something,
listening to the. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, sorry, you go ahead.
I do a lot of listening to the support acts. Like if there's a
Sure.
band that I'm like, shit,
That's smart.
I never really got into them. I'll give that a whirl. Yeah.
That makes
I do
sense.
recommend if you're going to like a Broadway show, listening to the soundtrack of that can be helpful because you can actually hear the goddamn words that they're saying, and sometimes it's not acoustically perfect where you're going. If you go see Phantom of the Opera, it's like you're not going to understand what they're saying. Well, also yes, it's the opera
I
house is haunted.
disagree with you there, Jess. Because then you are going to get accustomed to like, oh yeah, this guy sounds really good, and then you go to the actual show and it's a different cast.
Yeah,
Double-edged
it's a
sword.
different guy.
You gotta.
But
you
I
gotta
think, but since
tread
there's so
lightly.
much plot in those songs, you're not really going to catch much of the plot if you can't hear.
Depends on what
they're
you're
saying.
seeing.
Which Phantom we
Yeah.
talking about, Jess? Which one?
I know. It
Are
depends.
we talking about Ramin? I need Ramin.
Ramin's good.
The first time I saw Hamilton, I had no context for what it was or didn't know what it was because I was in the UK when all that sort of stuff kicked off. And
You weren't a
but I go
citizen
to
yet.
When Hamilton
exactly,
was president.
yeah, exactly, or whenever it
over
was
there.
blowing
Yeah.
up. But I like going to theater in the UK and stuff, and we just moved over, and when they started like rapping, I was like, "Oh shit, what?" Like I had no idea at all what the context for the show was at all. So that was the one scenario in which I would say that was a good idea. But yeah, I'm totally with Jess. If you're going to see some musicals, get some sort of idea.
I wish
that
musicals
stuff.
could have subtitles. Like that would be the best. I want
Right.
AR goggles that project.
Sing
like,
along.
They do
subtitles.
that
I feel like
in,
they do
used
stuff
to
for
or they used to do like a little screen at the bottom that when they show like have words
Yeah, for, like,
at the bottom of
ADA.
the stage, literally like a screen.
I
Yeah,
have-
like
if
subtitles.
it's like a
I know
different
that
language,
at-
I've seen that.
Okay,
Yeah.
I know that at Muppet Vision 3D. I've noticed this
Yes,
since I was a
on
child. In the
Broadway.
back, in the back, there's like the script running back there, and I was always like, "What the fuck is that about?" And my parents told me like that's for like deaf people. They wear like little reflector glasses, and they're like subtitles. So I was like, "Yo, that's cool."
Oh.
And I'm like,
Yeah.
why don't they do this everywhere else? Like, I would love that for movies, like, because movies are mixed so weird. Sometimes I
do
can't
in a
understand a
lot.
goddamn
So
thing.
when I worked in the cinema, we had these. They were special, or sometimes people had their own ones, and you basically have to tune it to a frequency.
What?
So sometimes
Yeah,
the
I've-
cinemas will
yeah.
sell them, and and they use them in theater too. Like if you not everywhere, but like for instance, if it was like a maybe I'm not on a tour as well, but like if you're going to see like a big show on Broadway, they often will have
the big show.
either they'll sell you the things or you can tune into a frequency and it's some
It's
type
just
of
like very
descriptive
locally
thing.
broadcast like
That's
thing.
really
Yeah.
cool. I had no clue. I'm gonna look this up. Probably expensive. They're expensive to buy.
I can't rember. I don't know.
I
You
imagine
get
you're
your
renting
free-
out?
them,
I thought
not
they gave them out.
I think
they
used
gotta be
to get
cheap.
them-
This is like
yeah.
an ADA thing, right? This gotta be free.
But you
Yeah,
can get,
they would, like, hand
versions
them
of
out.
this.
Yeah.
Like they make them for elderly people too. For like you get those like TV ears, right? Like the ones that just kind of they're not
The
speakers
horns?
quite, but they exactly. Yeah. What you say?
Like, I'm just trying to watch the
Good to
news
know.
over here. All right, Sean from Rushden, UK writes in and says, with it being the 20th anniversary of Xbox, where would the industry be if Microsoft had decided not to launch a games console? What state would the digital marketplace or online gaming be in without any of their influence?
Achievements wouldn't be a thing, right?
Maybe not.
Think we get
it's
there
hard to
now?
say. Would someone else have come up with that? As they started thinking about what can we do with the internet, what can we do with digital rights management in games and all that sort of account level stuff, like maybe someone would hit upon that. But
Yeah, I think it would have happened a little bit later, but I think somebody else would have had the same idea.
Do you think Trophies was cooking at Sony if
No.
it wasn't for
No.
Yeah.
no,
That was a
not at
reaction.
all, because
That came-
they
that came later.
didn't. Yeah,
Yeah, it took
they
a
didn't
while.
even
yeah.
launch with that stuff. Like they had to add it later. Like, oh shit, people care. Fuck. Remember all the rumors before Trophies were like confirmed? A lot of magazines or like would refer to them as entitlements, which is always a really weird. Like that's not
not the
how
way
that
to
word works. That's not
call that, yeah.
That was not what you would call that at all.
You little brats. Here's your points.
But yeah, I mean, Microsoft had its tendrils into the PC market to a certain extent. Obviously, they had released a lot of games and controllers and stuff like that. But like, so you wonder, like, would they have gotten to a place where you would have this kind of de facto standard PC controller via, the Xbox controller and X input and all that other stuff? One of the other questions we got is like, hey, do you think that Sony putting games out on PC means they'll put in more effort to make the DualSense controller work better with PC? And I think the answer there is probably not. But there is that element there of just like, would Sony be putting its games on PC if there was no Microsoft? Would Sega still be in the hardware business if Microsoft hadn't gotten in? There's
Yeah, who would have filled
And
that
even if
hole?
would there be a new third? There's room for three, I think.
Yeah.
Between Nintendo, Sony, and a third. Like, is Sega that third, or do they still get out? Because the Dreamcast
Philips.
stuff happened. Right. Yes. The CDI 2.
Philips.
Would the M2
Panasonic.
have been a big hit? Would 3DO have stuck out? I got an email a couple weeks ago from you get all these cold emails about like, hey, I am representing this product under service. Can we get together and chat next week about it? Like, they're very forward in trying to book a meeting about it. And this person thought that I worked for 3DO.
What?
Oh wow!
Like, I really want to
Okay.
talk about this technology. I think there's a lot of money we could be making on your website at the 3DO company. And I'm like, that's just like flabbergasted. Like, how do I get on this list? How do I get on this list as being like the head of marketing for 3DO or whatever they thought I was? 3DO doesn't even fucking exist anymore. How does all that happen? Like, there's just the
So you
number
took the
of
meeting,
things that
right?
had to fall in place.
It's where a
Definitely,
mustache.
yes. I wore a mustache and I was like, Army Men is hot and we want to capitalize on that. I like Sega would probably have still gotten out of the hardware business, I think, because that was still early enough that Microsoft hadn't quite gotten in. But
Also think about how like reactive Sony was to Microsoft over those years. Like their consoles were
Yeah.
very much like with the whole tit for tat back and forth of who was selling the most as well. Like the future of Sony is inexorably tied to what Microsoft were doing that whole time too. So it's like the butterfly effect of that would be pretty crazy.
yeah, definitely. And like, what would have happened to HD DVD? Like if Microsoft
true
not been
format.
there to really represent that format, what would have happened?
This popped up in chat, but do you think we would still have online memberships to play online games?
Definitely.
Yes, that
Yeah,
was
something like that
that,
eventually, right?
Yeah.
Like
Definitely.
Sega was doing that. I mean, but like it was happening on an individual game basis with Monster Hunter and
PSO.
with Phantasy Star. Yeah, like there were already games kind of heading down that path, but on a per game basis. So like, that stuff felt very grimy to me at the time. About like, I don't want to pay a monthly fee to play the like half sequel to Phantasy Star Online, a game that was totally free to play online just 6 months ago. Like that stuff seemed very shitty at the time. And now it's a free-to-play game, and you can spend money to look like Tails from Sonic the Hedgehog, and that's all fine. That's all fine.
Okay.
That's all fine. So, you know.
Imagine a world without the Gears of War Gary Jules commercial.
Right.
Hey,
yeah. Like, what would that have? We'd be better off.
You're
right?
saying that
right?
that kickstarted the sad bastard covers of all these.
You're right.
In
Indeed.
trailers, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the legacy of that bullshit would have been
Mad
forever
World, right?
changed without Mad World.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you know,
Oh,
Tears for Fears had to maybe okay that, so maybe we blame them. I don't know.
That is got to be one of my favorite gaming cliches, like the sad cover.
The sad bastard
of some
cover,
other-
really?
Yeah, like the sad
that's your
cover
favorite?
of something. That is just so funny to me.
Oh,
Like,
yeah, it is
in
funny.
games like of the genre of games advertisement, that is like my favorite dumbest thing.
But now
It's
it's
run rampant. It's run
is-
rampant in like movie trailers in a way
Movie
that
trailers,
is
totally.
like
Yeah,
like you
it
can't
kind of
even
like
fucking
shifted over to
think anymore.
movies, but it's just like, oh, there's something so purely
Like, is this-
goddamn hysterical about
Is
a
this
sad
Cannibal
version.
Corpse? They fucking did
Yeah.
an acoustic Cannibal Corpse? What did the fuck?
Yeah.
What?
I've always wanted to do like a skit or something, but I have no musical talent of just like one of those compilation CDs. Like that's what I call music, but it's like
Oh,
for sad,
the sad
music
bastard
for
one?
game. Yeah, sad music for game trailers, and it's just stuff that is completely
Yeah.
inappropriate. Like
There's-
girls just want to have fun or something.
Riders Republic has like a I don't know what you like a not a jazz bossa, but like a light sort of version of Gangster's Paradise on its radio. It's so fucking
Why?
weird.
Why?
It's
That's
so
weird.
You should
Sick.
listen. It's so strange. It's
Oh,
like
is
a,
it like
a
lo-fi mixes?
Yeah, I would say it's. I think it might be a ukulele, like a little sort of almost
Say
a
less.
cappella.
I'll get mine.
Yeah, it's so
Yeah.
strange. When it
boy.
came on, I was like, "What the fuck?" And it's just. It comes on all the time. I listen to now. I just have Spotify running on the PlayStation, so it's all my own shit. But like, it was so weird. Like that's
That is
that's
weird.
the next evolution. Is we're just gonna like do complete genre flips for every song.
Ooh.
Why not?
Somebody
Yeah,
said we
I
should
mean-
do one of those sad covers for a GB premium sale video. Bitch, I might. That's a good idea, actually. I got a ukulele too.
Who doesn't?
Who doesn't?
Dual ukuleles. I've got a toy ukulele here, but it won't
They're
stay
like
in
$20.
tune.
Who doesn't
counts.
have a
It counts.
ukulele?
Yeah. All right, that's going to do it for emails. Bombcast@giantbomb.com is the place to ship those. We'll see what else is going on. Premium memberships are on sale. If you're
Holy
into that,
moly,
you
it's
can go
on
to-
sale.
You can go to giantbomb.com/upgrade to learn more about that.
And gee whiz, don't we have some sort of merchandise we need to talk
New
about?
merch. New merch. It's
Oh, is
here.
that ready to be spoken
It's
about?
live.
Okay.
Yep.
Yes,
live.
it's live.
It's live on the site.
Look at this.
Okay.
Some socks.
What's up? It's beautiful. We got luchador
Socks.
socks.
Luchador
Look at
socks. Look at that.
Oh,
Look at this
There you
tag.
go.
Wait,
Look,
is that a
Look at that
drinking
foot.
vessel?
Yes.
Feet
as well?
pics are
Big ass
blurry.
water bottle.
Oh,
Yep.
yes. Let's go to the big ass water bottle. Big ass water bottle.
Yes.
It's pre-stickered.
It's
Pre-sticker.
gorgeous.
Yeah.
Apparently, it's not stickers. Matt tells us they are better than stickers.
I assume
Yeah,
they're
and
not
then
actually
you
stickers.
need to be able to clean it, so you probably don't want to have it be stickers. So.
Just been in my basement, like putting fucking stickers on 4,000 water bottles.
Ooh, and look at the
It's a lot
beanie.
of different logos.
This is
Very
awesome.
classic.
I'm on Giant Bomb Emporium right now,
Ooh, look at that
purchasing some of
beanie.
these items.
Rory
Wow.
cracks
No.
me up.
We'll give them to you, Danny. Don't buy
This
them.
jacket's pretty fresh, though.
It's
I'm-
tight.
Cool.
Yeah.
They need more lady sizes though. I understand why there aren't a lot.
Oh, hi, Yoli.
Oh,
Oh.
she's such a cutie. Oh,
Oh, that's so weird. He's
Cat
holding
also
a
for
cat.
sale, I think. I'm not sure
Oh,
about that.
yeah.
The cat
Cat's
might
there.
also be for sale.
He
Go to
just
the store and
found
find
that
out.
one. Yeah.
should have asked for the cat
Store.giantbomb.com if you
instead
want
of
more information on the merchandise. Short week this week with Thanksgiving here in the United States. So that's yeah. So no Thursday or Friday action. There'll be some stuff going up, but like you know, not a lot of live action there. We're gonna be doing holiday stuff.
Yeah, think of me.
Jeff Baclar will be drinking. Apparently,
A lot.
the
It
entire
sounds
time.
like a lot.
It's
And,
you can't really crack
Angry-
an 11%
angry drinking.
IPA at 10 a.m. So it's not gonna be like that.
okay, yeah, just bring some 40s then.
Yeah,
Ooh,
I might.
40 for you, shorty.
Yeah,
Oh,
let him know.
man.
Let him know what you're about.
Let him
now.
know I mean
say this
business.
is the
Yeah.
new Jeff Baclar. And say that out loud every time you crack
Yeah.
open a St. Ides. This one's for the new Jeff Baclar. And then
And I just
take
like
it to the neck and start
I
going.
just cheers myself and
Hell yeah.
fucking get
Yeah, could
get
you
it
just
all over
tie
the
two
carpet.
40s to your hands? Just like walk in, like ready to go.
Oh,
Walk in,
I'm
duct taped
Jeffrey
up.
I can't-
40 hands.
Can you help me?
Look at
Yeah,
me.
yeah, can you help me carve the turkey? Nope.
Sorry, can't do
Yeah,
it.
get the kid a
Honestly-
backpack, fill it with 40s.
Yep.
Just I'm not. This is not a bit. I'm genuinely distressed.
Jeff, you know what you do? You watch Grub Snacks live tomorrow because that's
Okay.
happening on a Wednesday, and
I'm
say
gonna
like
be on the road. I'll be on the road, dude. Yeah.
the archive,
driving.
and you tell them it's live.
Yeah,
only
yeah.
thing
So
I'm looking
I gotta
forward to
make
is
sure
the
this is
drive.
okay. This guy's a real loose cannon. This guy's a real loose cannon. I gotta make sure I watch this. That he doesn't say anything too crazy. Also, I've got all this King Cobra to get through, and
Yeah.
then just
This mad dog isn't gonna finish itself. Let me tell you.
yeah.
Baclar, I hope your family does not watch the things
They
you
might.
contribute to on
I
this
don't know.
website.
They're
Might
in the
be
chat
enjoyable.
right
watch
now.
this. Watch this. Like in the living room, like loud. Just watch this exact
Yeah.
conversation.
Put this
I mean,
on.
I'm not-
so
I'm
yeah,
not
watch
sure-
this. Yeah.
I might be in trouble for mentioning that fucked up salad last week.
We're
Oh,
clipping
Mother-in-law might have been
everything. It's gonna go
watching.
viral.
It was
Yeah.
clipped,
Not
so I
what
don't
I
know.
Please don't.
I'm sorry to my mother-in-law.
What are you
Happy
gonna do?
Thanksgiving, everyone, if you celebrate
Yeah.
it.
I'm
Happy Turkey
thankful
Day.
for you at home.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And if
that's
you don't
what I'm
celebrate it,
thankful for.
have a good Thursday.
Yeah.
You
We're
in
thankful for
Canada.
all you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Canada gets their own Thanksgiving. Damn it. They bastards.
Got everything
Lucky.
better than us.
So lucky. I know, right? Jeez.
Stupid. They get to break their legs and don't pay for it.
Friggin'
Love to do
ketchup chips. What the hell?
Oh,
Montreal
worth the price of
brutal
admission alone.
bastards.
Yeah. All right. We'll be back next week with another episode of the Giant Bombcast. Thanks for listening. See ya.
God.